he's changed his, channel name several times, right? Black Congregation and all this stuff. And the Pan-African stuff, then he switched to the FBA grift. But the title of his video, it says UK black man don't understand why black women with white mother calls herself black. So he has the word black in here 3 times, but he has the word white right here, white mother. What I'm highlighting, I'm pointing out the contradiction. Does that make sense to you guys? How can a black woman have a white mom? That's biologically impossible. A mulatto woman can have a white mom. A mulatto woman can have a black mom. But a black woman with a white mother, is the white mother adopted? I mean, let me rephrase that. Did a white mother adopt the child? If the child came out of the womb of a white woman, that's not a black child. A black child is not conceived from a white woman. But then again, this is the Philip Scott show, Phil Advice show, right? He's part of that whole grift, trying to give the black people in America more courage and confidence, which I'm not against, but what I'm against is that he's a grifter, and we see the strategies they're using. Now, he's heavily going to be fixated on trying to identify mixed women as black. That's why he's covering this video. We're going to get into the video. Just want to give you guys kind of my 2 cents starting out. And I've noticed this. I've done other reaction videos to Philip Scott on my other channel, my Mulatto History channel, because Philip Scott is fixated with mixed women that identifies mixed. I did a reaction where he was basically trying to shame this Creole lady for being Creole identified. He was trying to be like, well, my grandmama always told me to watch out for them Creole girls, And Philip Scott was like, oh, well, them Creole people, they stuck together because they wanted to maintain their skin color, right? But if black people say that they want a black partner so their kids can be dark skinned, no problemo. It's not a problem, right? It's only a problem when you mixed guys and gals, when you want to maintain your light skin, right? Then they get offended by that. Very pitiful. But yeah, I covered that like over a year ago on my other channel, Mulatto History channel, where Philip Scott was trying to shame this woman, telling her in the video like, oh, well, they just want to maintain their light skin. That's a bad thing, according to him. And of course, I did another video reaction, Philip Scott, where he was trying to bully this Dominican woman for identifying as Dominican. And then also remember I covered where he was trying to bully Tyla, telling Tyla, the South African colored woman, telling her, well, you need some black American friends. You need to learn the history. You need to get right with black Americans. Don't try to identify as color. You guys see that? They always go after the women. That's the key thing I'm trying to tell you guys, especially this Philip Scott guy. I peeped it for a minute. I've noticed that with this guy. He's always trying to go after and target mixed women, and he'll give his analysis over mixed women, how they identify. And he'll take their side. Of course he will. If they identify as black, that's why he made this whole video, because he wants the black identified ones, because he wants to keep them in their group, right? And thus you guys see currently the cultural predicament where look what they're doing with Drake. They're trying to destroy Drake's reputation, false allegations, smear campaigns, trying to destroy the biracial man, right? But then, of course, the guy who spearheaded all that, Kendrick, he's got a mixed race baby mama, and Dr. Dre got a mixed race baby mama. We're like, what the hell's like all these Drake haters, okay? Like they're either gay or they're, unattractive black women, or they're white boys from whatever. Like they're not like, or they're black racist guys, colorist guys who have a mixed race female fetish. Like they all have that in common, and they're jealous of the man Drake. Okay. And this guy right here, Philip Scott, I never heard him say anything, no Drake hate or nothing. So I'm not going to put that on him. But Philip Scott, what I'm saying is that it's the strategy similar because he's going after the female. They go after the mixed female and try to convince them, oh, it's better to identify as black. You get more privilege benefits. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of baby mamas around here. I see a lot all over social media. And a lot of them after that, they end up turning like gay. I don't know. Like they deal with the bantu. They want to be a part of the black community. And that's cool. They get preferential treatment of black community. That's cool, but it kind of wears out, right? Then they end up becoming baby mamas. They lose their status because they don't have their pookie to protect them unless they hop on to another pookie, which happens. But a lot of times these ladies, they end up becoming LGBT. So I'm like, where the hell is the benefit? And then they go to a different community, which is LGBT, which is basically the whites kind of, basically have hegemony over that whole entire situation. So let's get into this clip right here. I want to play this for you guys. Like I said, it came across my algorithm. But the clip is like a month old, but it's very interesting. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just saw like a minute or two of it, 60 seconds. I was like, okay, this is good. Let me hop up on here and talk about this. Let's check this out. Fair use, always fair use.
They use the term conversation a lot of times. They use the term biracial. We didn't use that term growing up.
He said they use the term biracial. We didn't use that term growing up. We don't give a damn about where you grew up, bro. You're a Southern country bumpkin guy. You grew up in the South, the United States, I think Texas area. He grew up in Houston area. It's a super racist environment he grew up in. He's trying to apply that to like the rest of the United States, different cultures, different politics, different social environment around the country. The United States is not all just one kind of monolith or monocultural situation. It's a big country. I think it's the third largest country in the world, right? Russia's first. I think Canada's number one as far as like geographical landmass in the United States. Giant country. And as far as population wise, there's close to 500 million Americans, so half a billion. So I believe we're either like probably third or fourth as far as population, very diverse. But where he comes from a land in Texas, right? In the history there, when it was a slave state. So it's like, don't take with this guy, limited lexicon as well. He's not he's not the smartest guy. The same thing like Tariq Nasheed. It's incredible how limited his vocabulary is, Tariq Nasheed. But he's got a following, good to him. Cahoots is not what they say. Cahoots to him. He's got a following. He's got, he can sell his products and all that stuff. But yeah, this Philip Scott guy talk about, well, when he was a kid, they didn't. How old is this guy? He's like barely 50. He's got like a gray beard and all that crap. But this guy's probably in his like late 40s or something, or early 50s. He's like a Gen Xer. He's not old. I don't know but he's from the South. That's the key thing. He's like, when I was, growing up in my time, they didn't say biracial. Well, we're saying it now, Phil. You got to adapt with the times now. We're saying it now. Remember, he has a biracial child. This is going to be a critical thing I'm going to go over in the stream of why this guy specifically is against. He's going to promote a mixed person identifying as black because he's going to instill that pathology into his own offspring. That's what many of them do.
Growing up, not at all.
He wants their mixed kids to identify as solely black, to be servants to black people.
Most time you had a parent outside of black, but your daddy was black or something like that. You black. But
you guys hear that? But your daddy was black, you was black. And he's very biased because he is continuing that whole tradition. He's trying to paint this like it's like, oh, it was back then in his day when he was a kid. He's doing the same thing right now. He has a mixed child with a Mexican woman. He's doing the same thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. They're still doing this today. There was I saw this in Unapologetically Biracial and Proud's page. Shout out to those ladies over on Facebook, where they basically kind of, they basically was laughing at some guy who's like a one dropper who jumped on their page and basically was trying to push that same rhetoric as well. The whole one dropping black dude gonna, the black biracial thing. That's the big thing. When these people, they push that term black biracial, something funny's coming up, right? These are the Afrocentrics and they're all racist, anti-white. So you got to watch out for them. that whole black biracial, because they want to use biracials as foot soldiers to get proximity to whiteness. Critically important. So they look at you as a tool. They look at you as not even having an identity. They want to put their false identity that was given to them by white people, they want to put that identity on you to be their servants for social and political power. That's what Phil is doing right now. So he'll sit there and talk about, back in my day, we didn't use biracial, right? Because he's still pushing that right now with his family. Very sad.
I want you to check out this short conversation. This is actually from a podcast out of the UK. But let's get into that conversation real quick.
My mum was raised in a house of Jamaicans. My mum was raised in a house of Jamaican.
Why don't you say you're white?
Because I'm not white.
But you're as much white as you are
I'm
black.
not, but it doesn't matter.
You're as much white as you are.
So this guy's talking sense, right? And he's policing blackness, which they're from the UK, but shout out to him because it's kind of rare. And she's a good looking mixed woman, right? In America, you'll have guys his complexion, they'll be drooling. Like you have a Phil Advice show, right? He's an American black. They'll be drooling. Like, oh, she identifies as black. Yeah, we can have access to her and make her a baby mama, right? They'll be drooling. But this guy here looks like he has confidence. He's like letting her know, hey, look, you're just as white as you are black. You're not black. Stop the cap. Stop playing games. So I can cahoots to this cat for calling a spade. But then again, he's from the UK, different culture, different environment, you know. Because, yeah, that's the thing, man. In America, you got guys like Philip Scott who marry out their race. They have mixed kids and they want to claim their kids black. And then they see other women and they're like, oh, you know, you're black. You know, back in my day, you got a black daddy. You just black. And I'm like, they push and project their confusion and lack of identity on the rest of you guys. You guys got to reject it. Talking to the mulattoes who are actually proud to be mulatto. If you're mulatto, you're black identified. If I haven't blocked you already, I will eventually. Shit, as soon as I find you.
Black is the stronger gene. Once black has been.
She says black is a stronger gene. Look at her, guys. Look at her. A good looking woman, but she's, you know, she's clueless. She says black is a stronger gene, but you don't look black. Like you look mixed. Like black people don't have your complexion. I don't know if she's traveled to Africa, but nobody in Africa would claim her as being black. Only some of the more westernized type in the major cities, not the rural African people, the tribal people in rural areas. They're not going to claim her as one of them. They're going to look at her. You're a foreigner. You're alien. Some of these, like if you go to maybe Nairobi or in South Africa, the major city, like in where I was at, Accra, Ghana, or something, like they might play with you and pretend you're part of their tribe or their family, their race, so they can kind of extract some pounds or dollars from you, right? They'll pretend that you're part of the family so they can get a good relationship and try to get some money out of you. But like, yeah, you can only play that crap in Africa with some of the people in the bigger cities. I mean, you go to these rural areas, these other places in all over Africa, none of these people are claiming you to be a part of their group. So she's fooling herself. They still try this crap. The dominant gene. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm looking at you like you're not a black woman. Okay, you do not have dark skin or brown skin. You don't have the features. You are not a black woman. You have a white mom. Okay.
Black has been. The thing is not about being proud of it or denying it. I've never denied it.
Deny the white side
you
by
asked
saying
me
you're
what
black.
I don't deny the white side.
By saying you're black,
because my mum's white and everyone knows.
No, but by saying you're black, you're denying the white side. Let's have some common sense.
I'm not.
Yeah, and he's the guy speaking facts. So I'm taking this dude's side because it's true. Yeah, by saying you're black, you're denying the white side. If you say you're mixed, or better yet, because mixed is too ambiguous and innocuous, if you say you're mulatto, you're acknowledging both your European and African heritage. It's crystal clear where you're coming from. And that's the point. That's the thing. And a lot of people, like the lady there, they don't seem to understand that. Let's continue on.
Do you not rate fish and chips? Do you not rate beans on toast?
Now, I'm on her side. I'm going to tell you why I'm on.
Of course he's on her side. Of course. I already laid it out. I already gave you guys in the earlier, the first stages. Basically, he has let me share this here. There's a reason why he's on her side, okay? I'm going to show you why. Okay. Okay. He's on her side because of this. This is his wife, and he has a child with this woman. Look at the one. He has a child. Do you think the child's going to be his complexion or her complexion? No. He has a brown skinned child that's neither black nor Mexican. They're the fusion, Blaxican. That's his child. He has a biracial Blaxican child. That is a real identity. That is a real identity, Blaxican. And people can use the term Afro-Latino for sure. That falls in line with that. It's dual heritage. So he's part of that. Like, and like I said, he always critiques women who are mixed and identifies mixed. But when he has an opportunity to see a woman who's mixed and identifies as black, he's always going to take their side, because this guy operates as his political modus operandi. He wants more of these mixed drones who are black identified. That's they fuel the whole Afrocentric pro-black movement, are all these mixed people. And it's been that way for decades. All these mixed people who are looking for a tribe and a place to call home, they fuel all that mix, all the pro-black Afrocentric whole consciousness crowd. It's always mixed people. Say not Amanda Seals and Zaza Ali. Remember her? Remember Michi X? You know, Yvette Carnell. Look at her, Yvette Carnell, right? She black? You tell me. You know, Dr. Claude Anderson, all these people, men and females. When you analyze FBA, pro-black, and all the Hebrew Israelites, you got that head guy. You know, it's like you analyze all of their movements. So they're more Hebrew Israelite, all the pro-black stuff, Pan-African pro-black, and all that stuff. They supplement, they have a lot of mixed people in their movements that are like the forefront, the spokespeople, right? So when a guy like Phil Scott, who has like you said, look at his partner here. He has a Mexican wife, a biracial kid. So for them, it's very like advantageous. They want to maintain that status quo in that community. So they need mixed people to identify as black because they need more foot soldiers. They need people to do their bidding for them. This is why he's always going to take the side of a mixed person who identifies as black, just like, you know, Dr. Umar Johnson's the same way, because they need tools and foot soldiers for their pro-black agenda.
On her side, because how are you going to argue with her about her lived reality? You can't.
How is he going to argue with her about her lived reality? Well, I don't know. With the clip he played, she never talked about her quote unquote lived reality. The man didn't really argue with her. He just told her, look, you're denying your white side, but just by just saying you're black. He's telling her the biological fact that you're just as white as you are black. So why not say you're mixed? Why are you just saying you're black? Right? But then, of course, look at right here. Look at the scare tactics. This is Afrocentric, you know, Blackistan gaslighting 101. And this is on his one of his banners on his video. He says, them folks, meaning his white massa, who he loves, and he married a white Mexican. Okay. So that's the thing. That's the Bantu tricknology, right? He wants to tell you, everyone else, be scared of them folks. Be scared of the white man. Be scared of them, right? But he sleeps up with them, lays in bed with them. Typical Bantu, right? Right here it says, them folks won't accept biracial people, right? So come over to the black side. We'll make you a baby mama. It'll be all good, right? Basically, in a nutshell. So yeah, let me continue on with this.
And do that, as you got two black parents. Obviously he has. So her lived reality is she has a white parent and she has a black parent, but she just didn't articulate that white people will never accept me.
Okay, but is that true? Did she articulate it? I didn't hear her say that in that clip, but maybe that's her. Maybe because she's not that bright or she can't function in our culture. There's other factors and nuances there. I'm not trying to get accepted by white people. And I've matured enough to realize it makes no sense to get accepted by black people. As long as mulattoes and other mixed race people accept me, I'm straight. I'm good. I'm gravy. I have a community. I have a market. I can grow in this circumstance. So, but they always try to position you with this binary kind of dichotomy where it's like, oh, the white folks, they're not going to accept you. So come over here to the black side. We'll accept you. Well, you guys will accept anything. Let's be real. You're not in a position of negotiation. You will accept anything. Like being in your position, you don't have a choice. So they try to like position it as if they're offering you something that's tangible or beneficial to you. Well, the whites aren't going to accept you. It's like, well, okay. It's funny because I always talk about this. Even my own sister, most of her clients are white. She's literally getting paid. White people are her clients. You know, her students are white. Most of them. I have white students as well. One student of mine, he's been a student of mine for years. White man. He's been paying me. So it's interesting. It's like, okay, they don't accept us, but yet they consult with us, they pay us, they support our business. It's like when you listen to the Bantu and you are a mixed race person, specifically mulatto, you're gonna get kind of lost in the sauce. That's why we need more channels like mine and these networks, these mulatto networks. We have to put out our own theories and control the narrative. Because these people, they have a political agenda. They want you to serve them. So they're going to position it as you guys just shared with you guys. Look right here. Them folks won't accept biracial. They're not going to accept you. They don't claim you, but we will. Come over here. Come over. It's like, oh, okay. What are you offering? How much are you paying? They're not paying you nothing. They're just going to tell you, oh, well, they don't like you, right? That's it. But you're not giving me no money, homie. No opportunities. What do I get from you? You don't hit up the Cash App. You don't hit, so what do you got for me? You ain't got nothing for me. That's the best part. See, they can pull this shit with the females, and that's often what they do, as I already alluded to with this Philip Scott guy. They'll go in and try to like pressure the women to identify as black, and they'll sympathize and feel sorry for the ones who are trying to find out where the hell they fit in. Like, that's what they do because they know it's an easier target. But with the men like Drake, like if you're a dude, you're forced to realize, okay, I got to do my own shit, build my own shit. Dealing with these people, I already realized several years ago, I was like, yeah, I got to do my own shit. Yeah, I already see where it's going with you people. They want to dilute themselves. They want to marry and have kids with everything that's non-black. They want to have a bunch of mixed kids and claim them as black, but they want to uphold this like dark skin archetype. Like all these rappers, right? They promote as black masculinity. These rappers like Future, Da Baby, and who else did they really like? Jay-Z. A lot of these Bantus like Jay-Z. He's such a dork and a dweeb. He's weak. He was like selling drugs in Brooklyn and shit. I've never liked Jay-Z. I don't know. He's an East Coast. I like East Coast rap and East Coast hip hop, like KRS-One. I like A Tribe Called Quest. I like Nas. He's cool. He's from Queens and all that. So I like the East Coast or New York rappers, but Jay-Z, they promote Jay-Z like he's not special. He's a dork. He's a fish-lipped dork, Jay-Z. But they promote him as being like this like masculine guy. I don't get it. Like I've never respected that cat. And then they got Kanye West. Like, see, they want to promote those type of people to be the representatives, right? Of black masculinity. But they'll never allow a guy like Drake to be the representative of black masculinity. So the guys, they wake up, they're gonna get their wake up call sooner than anybody else. Like with Drake, and yeah, even like Steph Curry, they want to take shots. Steph Curry's winning, getting all these championships, winning. Patrick Mahomes, as soon as Patrick Mahomes lost the Super Bowl, all the same people were talking crap about him, and they put him and Drake together. They were talking about, oh, the white mom biracials lost. The team light skin, they lost. See that? See how they turn on your ass, right? Like a Patrick Mahomes. They're not gonna look at him and allow him to represent black masculinity. No. But the same blacks who do that, they want to have a mixed woman represent black femininity. That's the crazy part. They will forever try to position Sade as being black or Alicia Keys as being black. Like they'll always try to put the mixed woman as being a representative of black femininity. And this is why they get into trouble with their own women. This is why they got that gender war. And it's a complete mess. If you're in that community, good for you. I hope you get the benefits and everything you can out of it. But for the rest of us who are doing something else, like we're out of there. I'm just an outside observer reporting the news. That's it.
Only black people is the one that's going to accept me. That's the bottom line. Black people going to accept her as a sister.
As a sister, he says black people, but yeah, let's be real. It's black, dark skinned black guys like you. The light skinned guys will like her too, of course. Light skinned people like light skinned people. You just have a lot of light skinned women who want to are opportunists, or they want to a higher position within the black community, so they know they have to appease darker skinned guys. So they have to lie to them and say they prefer them, you know. And you have that situation, and for some of them it works out, for a lot it doesn't. It's whatever, you know. We'll just continue to clown on them when they make the mistakes. But yeah, it's interesting. He says black people, but yeah, a lot of these women, they're gonna always tell you publicly, if you get them comfortable to where they'll tell the truth, where it's like, well, black women, their biggest ops are gonna be black women because they're jealous of you, yeah, and then they run the black guys for protection, yeah, because you know, white women aren't gonna hate on her as much as black women. Let's be real. You see that mixed woman there, yeah. The whole thing here is that as a mixed woman, because this Philip Scott show, remember, he's coming from a slave state with his slave kind of country bumpkin babble. Like they still push the one drop rule. But the thing is that mixed woman, a mulatto woman, why doesn't she seek acceptance from other mulattoes and build a network with them? There's enough mulattoes walking around. I see it everywhere. There's enough of us. Why not connect with other mulattoes? But he's trying to get you stuck in this binary dichotomy where it's like, oh, the whites don't like you, so you just come with the blacks, accept a deal from us. We're not going to hire you or give you no money. All of our masses and managers are white. We'll just be nicer to you over here, you know. But it's like, get out of that thinking. He's going to push that because that's his mindset. But for the mulatto men and women, you know, why don't you seek acceptance from other mulattoes? It's going to be challenging at first. I know, especially for me, there's a lot of people you're going to have to basically cut off, you know, because a lot of opportunists, etc., black identified, or they're biracial baby mamas. It's not going to work out, you know. So a lot of people you have to cut off and just kind of move on. But I mean, to me, it's still a better deal. I just always say, why not go seek community and cohesion with other mulattoes? Why not? That is an option. They're going to try to position it as if it's not an option. Well, because the whites don't like you. Them folks, like he puts here, them folks, which is code word. That's his code word for white people. You know, who, by the way, he probably lives next to them, is trying to get acceptance from them, you know. Not probably, is trying to get acceptance from them, right? But he'll jump online and talk shit about them for his black audience. So opportunistic, but it's pro-black stuff, you know. That's the grift. Same thing with Tweak and She. Tweak and She lives around all white people. But yeah, he jumps online talking shit about them for his black audience. It's such a sad grift. Like a lot of these rappers who talking about all this gang banging and criminal shit, but they live in like gated communities with white people, you know? Like I covered that with that guy Daylight. Daylight was talking all this crap about white people when he was on you know, his albums, his songs. He talks all this tough shit. He's married to a non-black woman, I think Egyptian woman, right? And he lives in a gated community with white people. It's like, you cannot make this up. That's why, to me, if you're a mixed woman and like you identify as black and like you hang out with black guys, to me, you're weak, you know. And it's the same with the guys, the males. Like you identify black and you're weak. To me, you're weak. You know, you can call me anti-black or call me racist. That's cool. But, you know, I'd love to see you fucking run up. When I look at you and I analyze and I'm like, yeah, you're weak. You need them. When that's the saddest part, is where it's like they need you more than you need them. But you position yourself as if like you feel like you need them to prop you up. I'm not like that. So completely different situation.
Black people gonna say that is my sister. Brothers gonna want to holler at her, do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? The brother's gonna want to holler at her. Yeah, of course. Everyone's gonna, you know, you see, that's where his mind goes. The brother's gonna want to holler at her. Yeah, of course. Yeah. We already know what's up, guys. Do I need to say any more? We already know what's up.
With her. And that's gonna be the end of it.
That's gonna be the end of it. Absorb her. Remember, this is an Afrocentric pro-black. The goal for them is to absorb mulattoes back into the black body politic. to neutralize you as a group. They do not want you to exercise your own independent autonomy as a mulatto. That's their goal. Their strategy is to absorb you. And they want sexual access to you so they can absorb you. Turn the females into baby mamas, turn the males into cucks or punks, or they'll have some scraps on the side. They'll kind of push off to the side and undesirable, you know, whatever, you know, they want you neutralized. They want the males neutralized. And they have, shout out to Light Skin History, because I like Light Skin History's language and his kind of terminology that he uses. He says, I really like what he says. He calls it a shaming ritual. That's a term or phrase that he's coined that I've heard from him. So shout out and credit to him. I like that. I like the way he phrased it. A shaming ritual. And that's what you see in that community, where they're always hazing and shaming guys like Drake, guys like Steph Curry, all these lighter skinned guys in that group. That is like the pathway, I guess, to blackness. They have this legitimately a shaming ritual to humble the men. But for the females, it's a different strategy they use, this through bastardization. Whereas Philip Scott just said, oh, you know, the brother's going to holler at you. So, yeah, shout out to Light Skin History for that. I really like how he mentions that. Yeah, the shaming ritual, man, that is so true. When I analyze social media, I'm like, that's legitimately what it is. They are legitimately they're going through shaming rituals to try to humble lighter skin in mulatto men into kind of knowing their place underneath the dark skinned Bantu. And see, I'm not from their community, so I didn't even witness this stuff until I got into like the teenage years and adult years, and I started navigating their circles. It's not just online, but in Los Angeles, in person, working with them, dealing with them, moving around in their circles. And I was like, oh shit, this is very weird how they're operating. And what I've learned by being amongst them, studying them, strategizing, was that they love white people. I mean, they can talk all the shit they want, all these pro-wax and Afrocentrics. Like, number one thing you'll know when you deal with them is they love white people more than anybody. I think the only people who have them beat are East Indians. Legitimately, the only people on planet Earth that love white people more than the African American former slave is going to be, and continental Africans. I know even Nigerians kind of have a reputation, but the only people more than, say, Africans or African Americans is going to be East Indians, in my analysis, that love white people, like the biggest ass kissers. But that's one thing I've noticed with them, is they love white people. But that's why they're envious and jealous of mulattoes, right? Because you have more proximity. And this guy says right here, them folks won't accept you or accept Irish people. Why do you guys cry about colorism? Why do you guys cry about light skin privilege? Why do you guys cry about when Barack Obama gets a presidency? You're like, well, they're not going to put a dark skinned man there. They're not going to put a dark skinned man in this video or this movie or that position. They're going to get a lighter skin person. Why do they cry about that colorism shit? So, like, they're very hypocritical in how they frame their arguments. And one side, they'll say you're privileged, light skin privilege. The other side, they're going to be like, well, they don't even like you. They don't accept you. Just come over here with us. I'm like, we see you people now. Now we're commentating on the news now. So now what?
Because the white community would never accept her, because they look at her as a person that could just also wipe them out with genetic and
you see this, he's pushing, the whole Neely Fuller. I know where all their philosophy, like I said, I've studied these people. So all their philosophies, the Neely Fuller Jr. and who's Francis Cress Welsing, the ISIS papers. I've already studied all their text. And he's not a smart guy. Like I said, limited lexicon. He's spouting the same rhetoric. He's talking about genetic annihilation. He's like, well, white people are going to fear her. But why did they bring in Meghan Markle into the royal family? Like, this lady on the screen, the mulatto lady, she's just as white as she is black. Your black gene is not dominant. If she gets with a white guy, look at Sage Steele. Sage Steele is darker skin than this mulatto on the screen. Sage Steele's children, they're all whites. I mean, you could technicalities say that they're quadroon. Sage Steele, I believe, has 2 daughters and 1 son. And you can check out Sage Steele, go on her social media, her like Instagram. She's very proud of her family. None of her offspring, her children, are black. You wouldn't even guess they have black ancestry, and you see her next to her family and all that, etc. Right? So don't let this buffoon lie to you, talking about, oh, the white folks are scared of genetic annihilation. No, they're scared of genetic annihilation when they see your rear end show up with your zucchini-sized fucking nose that takes up half of your face. When they see you show up there, then they might be like, oh, I don't know, I don't want this guy, dating my daughter or something. No, it's when they see your black rear end, not when they see her. When they see the mulatto, they already know, okay, they're already half white. They're kind of a, don't let this guy lie to your ass. I mean, see, people got to challenge what these people say, their rhetoric. And he has a large following. And they'll be like, yeah, you're right. They're fearful, of this mulatto. Really? I see all these mulattoes and mulattas. They got white partners. They marry into the white group. A lot of my audience, the male and female, that's basically what it is. I mean, it's on both sides. I have a lot of mulattas and mulattoes who have black partners, but I also have a lot of them who have white partners. They just marry into that group, no problem. So, like, you need a mulatto voice to challenge and correct these biased Afrocentrics who have an agenda for mulattoes, because their agenda is to neutralize us, to make it so we're not even a group. We have no autonomy. And he's going to try to trick you and try to put this fear. Well, the white people, they fear genetic annihilation. No, yeah, when they see you, dude, your zucchini-sized nose, dark skin. No, when they see you, that's what they might think. When they see the mulatto, nah, they're just mad because we challenge them. Okay, because they're our parents. We grew up with them. We were raised by them. We studied them, strategized. We grew up. We know them because we're part of them. So that's where the fear comes from, more so from like warfare, psychological standpoint, not genetics. Okay, let me continue on.
Also wipe them out with genetic annihilation. So they're more keen.
And I wanted to put that out there, like, because the genetic annihilation, I wanted to put out where I know where he's getting that from, that talking point, the rhetoric. That's from Francis Cress Welsing, and that's from Neely Fuller Jr. And they, all of them in their circles, they all spout the same rhetoric, and they have the same sources.
On people like her anyway. Look at Meghan Markle, how racist they were.
How racist they were. Yeah, and a lot of them in British society. The thing is, Meghan Markle is kind of a, she's a B-level actress, and she's a divorcee. So she has that going on for her. She's not like the top shit. And not only that, Meghan Markle is kind of a crybaby, and people would agree with me, attention seeker. And because a lot of people look at her as she kind of like pussy whipped, the royal family guy, Harry, his name is, right? So there's a lot of that. But not only that, like, the family she's dealing with is like responsible for like colonialism, and like they've benefited off of slavery and like all the atrocities of humanity. The royal family. People don't want to hear me say that. It's going to be taboo depending on who you're dealing with. But yeah, the royal family, like, a lot of them, they've benefited from, and I think they've probably officially apologized for stuff. I think that's out there. But they've benefited from a lot of negative stuff. So you're not dealing with a normal group of people. Like, they're not your average kind of common folk, so to speak, right? You're dealing with an elite class group of people. And Meghan Markle was basically introduced to that group, that family, a specific kind of exclusive class of people. That's not your average everyday kind of, country club or, dive bar group of people, the royal family. So that's like an extreme case, and she had access to them. But I'll just, they want to use that as an example, but I'm pointing out where it's like, that's kind of an outlier. Okay. It's not an everyday scenario. Let me continue.
To Meghan Markle. Why? Because they don't like them black genes that's going to be slipped in. Even though Meghan Markle has a white father, don't matter. That black gene is still there. And that black gene could pop up later somewhere else.
See how he's trying to push that black gene can pop up somewhere else. Yeah, they're more fearful of you, Phil. Stop projecting. Stop trying to put that on the mulatto. The mulatto, like I said, he never does these videos talking about mixed dudes. I noticed that. All of it, because like I said, that's his strategy. They're always going to try to attack and target the female because they feel like it's an easier win to conquer them, right? That's legitimately their strategy, is to conquer the females. They can attack the men, neutralize the men. They've been doing that with whites, and now you see, of course, they're doing that with mulattoes. They kick you guys out of their group. Look what they're doing with Drake. Smear campaigns, false allegations. They're doing with Drake. So, what do you expect?
Understand that. They worry about people like Meghan Markle and this young woman, in this video. So,
and he's trying to instill fear in the female listener. If there's a biracial mulatto female listener who watches this guy, and maybe they're kind of naive or just not educated, whatever, they're not astute, like he's trying to instill fear in them. You notice that he's talking about Meghan Markle and her, that Meghan Markle is of a higher class than this zucchini nose guy will ever be. She's good. She's taken care of. She can travel the planet. Anything she wants, she has. She doesn't need this guy's opinion talking about, oh, well, they ain't going to accept you. They fear you. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, but it's because he has a political agenda. So he's basically an Afrocentric propagandist pushing this crap.
So you can't sit up here and tell them about their lived experience. Or you just as much white. It's like you're an idiot. Yeah.
No, Phil, you're the idiot. I'm siding with this guy right here. He's absolutely 100% correct, because this is a black guy that has pride in himself. That's what I'm saying. I know it's because he's in the UK, because it's kind of rare. I see in the United States where these black guys just go, you got a black daddy. Oh, you black like me, right? But see, in this guy, he's like, no, you're just as white as you are black. Stop the cap. Stop pretending, acting dumb. You're like, we know what a black woman looks like and what a mixed woman looks like, right? So no, Phil, you're dumb, not him. Because I agree with what he's saying. She's just as white as she is black. Phil, you're an opportunist. You prey on the mulatto women. You want, and not even mulatto, if they're colored like Tyler or Afro, or the Creole ladies, or if they're Afro Latina like Dominicans. I've studied you, bro. I already have video responses. I'll tag you in the video. Okay. Like, this is what you do. You try to basically prey on the women. You want to insult their intelligence, and you want to basically manipulate them using scare tactics. Oh, them folks ain't going to accept you. You got to come over here to the black side. We'll do good by you. We'll be okay. Yeah. Okay. Tell that to all the baby mamas, how good you done by them. Because there's a lot of them. And those are my haters, because I clown their ass. Those are my haters because, like, I call a spade a spade. What can I say?
Yes, she got a white parent, but her lived reality isn't the white community. She doesn't get,
her lived reality is of the mixed community, mixed race community, for all intents and purposes. Like I said, I love the specificity of mulatto, but when you're navigating some of these spaces and social media, etc., people colloquially just use the term mixed, because there's other configurations that are present there. This whole multiracial thing. Like, there's a lady on TikTok I follow, and I was in one of her live streams earlier today, and I think she said both of her parents are mixed, but she had some other stuff going on. So she kind of has a mulatto aesthetic per se, but I mean, whatever. I'll just leave it at that.
White privilege. She don't get any of that. Whether she's in the UK or
she doesn't have white privilege amongst whites, but she has mixed privilege amongst dark-skinned males in America. In the UK, it might be different. I don't know. I have a lot of the mulatto women from the UK who follow me on all my platforms. So that's a good thing. I love them. And it's, so I don't know. And I've been to the UK. I was there a couple years ago, and I saw some mulattoes there, yeah. And I saw some with like Asian guys. I saw one or two with black guys. So yeah, I mean, they're gorgeous women. Like, they have all the options, the type of guys they want. It's up to them. But he's trying to push this American slave mindset and make it like international. You're commenting on people with different culture, different social customs, different political environment in the UK. Like, they're in the UK, they're different, but he's commenting on it. You see, trying to bring his, like I told you guys, he's from Texas, a slave state. He's talking about back in my day, when I was a kid, there were no biracial. You were just either black or white. See, he's trying to push that archaic slave mindset. And with the UK, there's a lot of progressive people. They identify as mixed. But this guy, he doesn't respect that. Why? Well, because I already showed you, he has a Mexican partner and he has a mixed kid. So for him, it's basically he's opportunist. He wants his child to identify as black. He doesn't want this information out there where people realize, oh shit, you're Blaxican. You can be a Blaxican. There's a lot of Blaxicans out here. You're mulatto. Yeah, you can be a mulatto. There's a lot of mulattoes out here. Start to talk to people. Start to build your network. And if you're Blasian, etc., whatever configuration, your Hoppa, etc., like just start to talk to people. There's social media pages, there's networks, there's people out here, there's groups, private groups, etc. Start to connect with people. You don't have to listen to this old, 1800s kind of Texas slave babble where they're telling you got to be white or black because them white folks, they're going to fear you. They don't accept you. You be to come over here with us. Nah. I don't think so.
Whether you in the United States of America, they don't get that. They don't.
And shout out to, I have some colored audience members as well, South African coloreds. I have some audience members, and they were telling me they watched some of this guy's stuff, Phil Advice Show, and he went out there to South Africa, and he was trying to one drop some of the colored people to identify as black. So this guy does that. He goes around the planet and does that. He went to South Africa and tried to get the people down there to identify with his black bullshit when he's married to a whole Mexican. You guys got to continue to check this fool. You're talking all this Afrocentric black identity shit, but you lay in bed with a non-black female. You can't say nothing, Phil. It's embarrassing that you still have an audience, and we look at your audience, they're basically dumb people. They're not smart. Sure, they might have careers working for white folks. You probably have a large enough audience. You have some smart black people who have their own businesses. And the thing is, maybe they like some of the information, the way you package it and present it, your professional kind of YouTube media platform, etc. But yeah, it's just this guy's so outdated, man. So yeah, like I said, I have some colored people who followed me from South Africa, and they noted that this guy went down there trying to one drop those people. Very arrogant for him to go around the world pushing that kind of slave mindset. Well, you just got to be black. And he's pro the Malema guy, Julius Malema, who's like anti-white down there in South Africa. He's pro him. It's just, you cannot make this up. This guy's married to a whole non-black female. Right there, like you can't say nothing. But, whatever, I guess black people that's part of their group. They're cool with that. They got a lot of these people out there who are so pro-black, like Tariq Nasheed, can't even marry a black woman. He's got a mixed woman. It's very typical with them.
Maybe.
And also their god, Kendrick Lamar, they just take fat L's, man. The community takes fat L's. You can say whatever the hell you want, continue to call me anti-black, but when I point this out, man, you guys are taking fat fucking L's, man. You got Philip Scott married to a Mexican, Tariq Nasheed married to his mixed queen, and then you got Kendrick Lamar, your guys' god, who's not married, but his baby mom is mixed. I mean, you guys are taking fat fucking L's. Kendrick Lamar talking about the blacker the berry, but his partner is whiter than white. I mean, whiter than Drake. Man, you guys are taking fat fucking L's, man. I don't know why you guys come for me. It's just too easy.
They could pass, but if they can't pass and they visibly look like, I mean, for her, if she wouldn't have said nothing. I thought she was just light-skinned black chick.
You guys see that? If she would never said she had a white mom, I just thought she was light-skinned black. You see, that whole light-skinned black shit, because someone told me that the other day on TikTok. You don't even look mixed. You just look like a light-skinned black. See, that is a humbling tactic. And shout out to the Mixed Lens, because she just uploaded a video. Go check out her channel, the Mixed Lens, where she made a video where that's one of Blackistan's number one gaslighting tactics. Is they'll tell you, well, you just have black features. You just look like a black person. You're not special. They're trying to humble you and invalidate you, right? Very racist rhetoric on their part. And it exposes their self-hatred. They hate themselves, right? When they're telling you, well, you just look like a black person. You just look like a light-skinned black person. You're not special. You're not half white. Well, you might be half white, but to me, you just look like you're black or light-skinned, right? Because they've already kind of humbled and punked, for all intents and purposes, no disrespect, they've kind of already punked lighter skinned black people to be their subordinates, right? So, but they're trying this shit now with mixed people and mulatto specifically, where they're just going to tell you, well, you just look like them. You're just, my nose isn't the same as you. Okay. My skin's not the same as you, hair texture. I know I'm bald, but You look at my mustache and beard. We're not the same as you, bro. And not even just genetically and the skin complexion, whatever. Identity, culturally, heritage wise, the way I was raised, we're not the same as you. And then what are they gonna do? The racist blacks? Well, it's because you got a white mom. Okay, cool. A lot of us do. And when we break away from you people, you're gonna cry again. But you know, you asked for it. We're all collecting receipts on you now. We see the rhetoric in your guys' group. You guys are very anti-white, very anti-white women. White women are the majority of the United States. And they're very anti-white women, very anti-white mom biracial. It's like, I just don't know why you guys tolerate it. And it's only these biracial ladies who probably got like mommy issues and shit who sit there and kind of co-sign it like it's normal or okay. They don't call it out. You know, let's continue on.
Something I would have thought. I would have thought nothing different until she said something, because, you know, we got people with 2 black parents. Sometimes black parents darker than me can have a child that look just like her.
And that's a lie. I mean, I would love to see some of these cases. Does it happen? Maybe. Is it rare? I mean, where are these cases? Most of these people they talk about who have her complexion, the mixed lady, right? And her phenotype. It's not just skin color, complexion. It's also phenotype. You look at her cheekbones, facial symmetry, nose, right? And hair texture. They got mixed parents, or maybe one of their parents is dark skin black, but they might be admixed, right? So maybe they might have darker skin tone, but they're still like they have like 10%, right? Because they'll try to lie and tell you most black Americans are 20% European. Fucking lie. At best, most of you have like less than 10% European, which is admixture. You're not mixed. But that's a strategy you people use to invalidate us. And yeah, and it was like, you guys just act dumb. Like, we debunk all this crap every day, but you still try it and you make yourself look dumb. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so what he'll find is like probably like that, maybe the grift category. That's a term that nobody uses off the internet. Let's be real. Where it's like you have like you'll have a mixed or biracial parent, and then one of their other parents is like a black person with like maybe minimal admixture, and then they come out looking more so biracial presenting. Yeah, it's very common. Yeah, but he's gonna try to pretend like you got 2 dark skinned parents who come out looking mixed and shit. Where? I just don't see that. I don't see that, guys. Do you see it? You guys have some special story to share it? No. This is what they tell them.
So there you go. So it's like, and to the folks, they're gonna look at her as a light-skinned black woman too. They're not.
Yeah, and then folk, they're gonna look at her light-skinned black. Oh, they ain't gonna think you special. See, them white folks, they gonna just be just like us, of course, because they trained us. I's a good boy. I'm a good boy from Massa. I'm from the South. I'm from Texas, you know. So them white folks, they gonna look at her just like she light-skinned black, just like us black. You know, you guys see the rhetoric, how he's trying to say, oh, well, them white folks gonna look at you the same as us, the way we look at you. You ain't special. They gonna look at you like you're light-skinned black. You may be mixed, but you guys see this shit. He's admitting he's like that. He gets his whole talking points philosophy and basically attitude from white people. They just gonna look at you as a light-skinned black. Shit, they don't look at me as a light-skinned black. They know the damn well difference, because I'm a dude and I challenge people. As a man, you got to find solutions. You got to compete and prosper. So yeah, they know the damn difference when they see my little ass walking up in there. They know the difference.
Don't sit up here and look at it like, is she white? Is she this? Is she that? You know what I'm saying? I just never understood when some of us in the community try to tell, you know, another brother or sister who has a parent of a different community about their lived experience. I mean, we should be listening to their lived experience and learn from their lived experience. Maybe.
Well, because a lot of you guys have damaged, you guys have trauma, and you guys pass down that generational trauma. A lot of you guys have damage, psychological damage. And so in order for you guys to cope with that, you guys have to try to act like you have a culture or an identity, or you know who you are, and you want to project this kind of superiority complex over a mixed person to act like you're better than them. You want to like one up them. That's where you guys get off at, is trying to act like you know better, you know more. And you guys don't travel, you're not cultured, and I don't know, you're college educated, whatever. Usually the college educated ones, they're pushing the whole gender fluidity, LGBT kind of liberal stuff. That's usually what happens there. But like a lot of you guys aren't even cultured like that. So, but you guys, you want to have a sense of power. So you look at mulatto people who are currently disorganized, but with my efforts and others getting more organized, you look at us as being an easy target and prey for you for an ego boost. You look at these people, you want to get an ego boost off of them. That's what it is.
Be, you know, like me, I don't get involved with all that. I just say, oh, hey, sister, hey, brother, now they don't want that. Like, I ain't black. I'm OJ, that sort of thing. Okay. All right. And then I'll leave you, let you be. I'm not going to force you to identify with something that you don't not want to identify with. Oh, I'm mixed. Okay. If I hear that term mixed from you, then I know how to deal with you. Well, Phil,
how are you going to deal with this, Phil? Basically, just leave us the fuck alone, bro. I know how to deal with you. What, giving a cold shoulder? Leave us. It's all good, bro. You're black and we're mulatto. We're different than you. It's all good. There's no hate. If you have a product that we can use, we'd support it if it's a good product or service. There's no hate. But to use to position yourself to try to use us to get political proximity to white people, those days are going to end very soon. I'm just one guy, but these other people, they're wising up. These other mulattoes, they're wising up. They're going to be cutting off access. And the ladies, the mulattoes, they realize they got other options. They're already doing that too. They're going to cut off access to you guys. They realize that you're not going to trick them to identify as black to get this acceptance from the tribe. And then they end up being baby mamas and shit. Like people are that they're going to stop that trend. People are going to cut off access. So, yeah, he's fooling himself right here.
They are mixed. I say, well, in this world they live in, they're not going to be treated as such. They're going to be treated.
You guys see, that's the same rhetoric. In this world they live in, when I go to Dominican Republic, I'm mixed. I go to Puerto Rico, I'm mixed. I go to Brazil, I'm mixed. I go to Panama, I'm mixed. I'm mixed everywhere I travel. When I go to Africa, I'm white. Like in the United States of America, I've traveled this country, not every state, but from west to east, north to south, I've traveled. I've been to half of the states. It's a big country, guys, okay? And some of these places, there ain't shit to do out there. I mean, I hate to say it, like Wyoming, what are you gonna do out there? I've been to Montana, I've been to Idaho. Montana's nice, beautiful land. I like Montana. I don't know if I'm gonna go back, I'll be real, but I've taken road trips around this place. And it's like, I'm mixed. We don't look the same as you. So when you have this guy, Phil, he's pushing the same racist rhetoric a lot of them push. Is that, oh, the world's going to see you as black, so you got to accept it and identify with us and let us bastardize you and invalidate you and neutralize you so you could be a part of our group to give them more political and social power. That's the end goal, because it's going to be dark skin supremacy when you're in their group. They're going to invalidate you being mixed. They're going to invalidate you being light skin. It's going to be dark skin supremacy, which is dark skin male supremacy, right? It's going to be dark-skinned males and then the mixed and light-skinned women underneath the males. And then that's why a lot of these black women are looking around asking questions like, what the hell is going on? A lot of them are divesting or trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And a lot of them, like I said, I'm not an ally to them because they're all complicit. They're all complicit because they serve dark-skinned Bantus. They serve the males. And they, so like, they're all, and they may act dumb or confused or whatever. They just run to a white guy. They're not doing us any favors. They're not supporting the mulatto men. They're not paying us or cash apping us or supporting our endeavors. No, they come over here and dust up our chats and provide unsolicited advice. No one asked them for. So they're not even allies to us. They want to be allies. Drop a cash app. Support our endeavors. They can't do that. So, I mean, it's all talk, like this idea. They know what's going on in their community. They got Phil Advice Show right here, married to a Mexican. Is he a black representative? Will they have him as the black representative? You're not laying next to a dark-skinned black queen or goddess. You got a pale, pasty Mexican partner. But you're so pro-black, and he's sitting there telling you, though, for the mulattoes, the world's going to see you as black. And I'm telling you, I'm a mulatto man. You see me. The world does not see us as black. This dude's tripping. You do a side-by-side, me and him, Mr. Zucchini knows, we don't fucking look the same. The whole world knows that. Europe, Africa, Asia, Caribbean, Latin America, we're not the same. They'll tell you that I'm colorist and anti-black for stating the reality. I mean, but I'm pointing out, I see the political agenda, what they want, right? They want to bastardize and neutralize mulattoes. They want access to all these other races of women and have mixed kids and push this whole black is dominant, the seed of your father, or them people gonna see you as black. The whole world's gonna see you as black. They're gonna use the same scare tactics. They don't accept you, so come over here. But mixed people will accept mixed people. We can relate to each other. That's why it's on us to build these networks and communities and online spaces, etc. But I'm just pointing this out right here. Look, this is his partner. So for black women who listen to this guy and think, he's on your team, okay, yeah, why couldn't he marry one of you? All these beautiful black women. I don't get it. Why he chose her. All these beautiful, feminine black women, but this is who he chose. It's just, it speaks volumes. But then he wants to talk about a mixed woman and try to convince her to identify as black. It's just, it speaks volumes. This is really what they got going on in their group, because these type of guys are coddled and prefer like their position as being authorities in their group. They give them all the clout. They have big social media followings, Tariq Nasheed. And it's like, how is that? You guys don't even marry black women. You should, if you had a community with integrity, they would immediately just deplatform you and not even pay you. They'll pay you dust. You wouldn't get any real your word would mean nothing. You're a fraud. How are you pro-black, but you're not married to a black female? How does that work? Only in their community. That's how it works. And in the white community too, that is a thing as well, because you got guys like Candace Owens type of situation, and then there's another guy who has like an Asian partner. One of these like Proud Boy guys. One of these Proud Boy guys are from one of these kind of alt-right groups. They got like an Asian partner. It's like, how the hell are you pro-white, but your partner is Asian? You see that with these boys, the white boys. You're pro-white, but your partner is Asian. Yeah, you're not pro-white. I mean, you can trick the white boy incels and shit. You can trick those fools, but the rest of us looking at it like, yeah.
Treated as black. And that's just bottom line. You got a black parent, you're going to be viewed as black, period.
And he's very like affirmative on that, period. You got a black parent, you can be viewed as black. So he is a hypocrite, because when the black guy tells the mixed woman, well, you're just as white as you are black. So when you say you're just black, you're erasing the white part. Remember earlier when I played, Phil Advice Show was saying, why are you speaking for the mixed person experience? Black people can't speak for the mixed person experience. What does he just do right now? He's speaking for her experience. He's trying to scare her and tell her, well, the world's going to see you as black. If you got a black parent, you're just going to be seen as black, period. You kind of see that kind of, I guess I could say, ultimatum, but he's a hypocrite. He's a fraud. He's a pro-black hypocrite. He's going to contradict himself. He's going to make it seem like it's a bad thing when the black guy, the man, I'll identify him as a man because he's talking sense, the man from the UK, where he's challenging the mixed woman and her identity, saying, well, you're just as white as you are black. So when you say you're black, you're erasing the white side. So that's not a good thing. And this Philip Scott guy, hypocritical individual, where he said, don't tell a mixed person about their lived experience. But he's trying to force this black identity on him, on her, trying to say, well, the world's going to see you as black. You got a black parent. You're just going to be black, period. Do you guys not see this? Who else is calling this shit out? This is so irritating, just covering this. And he has such a limited vocabulary. His articulation's not there, kind of country bumpkin, and you kind of get caught up with the whole suit and tie and the professionalism with his platform, because he's got a lot of viewers, a lot of money there. And it's like, this guy, he just contradicted himself. He doesn't like it when other people, tell mixed people there's a different way to see things, but then he turns around and does the same exact thing. Tries to scare mixed people. Well, white people aren't going to accept you. You got a black parent. The world's going to look at you as black. Period. He said, period. That's it. We're like, what the fuck, bro? You're still trying to push this pro-whack shit in 2025 when you got these mulattoes out here who are figuring out what's really going on. You're still trying to push this pro-whack shit. Don't be confused about the numbers. You might think the numbers for us over here might be low now, but in due time, They're shadow banning all of our, of course, running smear campaigns and all that shadow banning, of course. They're going to do everything they can to silence mulatto voices, right? And unfortunately, it's sad. You have a lot of mulattoes who kind of fall in line with that, who don't have their own interests, but, that's on them.
And that's just bottom line. You got a black parent, you're going to be viewed as black, period.
You see that? Completely contradicted himself, which is typical. He's pro-black. What do you expect? Married to a Mexican, not a black woman. So it's expected from his type.
It's just that simple. But like I say, shout out to the brothers and sisters out there, who maybe have a parent from a different community. It's all, you all good with me. That's how I look at it. I don't care about nobody else.
Yeah, of course you're all good with him because he's got mixed kids. We already went over that. He has a Mexican partner, a mixed kid. He's like, you're all good with him. But earlier he's like, if someone tells him they're mixed, he's like, I already know how to deal with you. How the hell are you going to deal with this, Phil? That's the funny part. Like what? Bro, like you're either going to respect the fact that we're not the same as you, or I just won't deal with you. I know how to deal with you by not dealing with you at all. I go the other way, bro. There's other people I can do business with and network out here. I'm straight. We don't have to deal with you. You need us more than we need you. That's the reality. They're trying to trick mulattoes into thinking you need them for a sense of tribe or purpose or destiny. That's the trick they run.
Light skin or whatever. Let me tell you something about that. I've seen people like her go harder for black people than people like that dude in the video.
Yeah, the reason why it is because they're fighting for acceptance. That's why you have Michi X's out here and Sa Ra Suit and Seti, and even the old timer, Dr. Claude Anderson. You got these guys who are super high yellow, mixed race, light skinned people who are the biggest capers and they fight harder for black people. You got Phil Valentine, of course. Of course you do. There's a whole long list of these people because they're fighting for acceptance in the black community. Where a black person doesn't have to do that. A black person can sit on their ass, be a scumbag, a piece of shit, criminal like George Floyd, and then they get all the love and praise. Or all these rappers, you name your rapper, DaBaby, Future, like I already mentioned, Jay-Z, he's selling crack in like Brooklyn and shit. You pick any of these rappers, dark skin, talking all this crap, spreading all this toxicity, and it's like they have nothing to say about that, right? They don't have to go hard in the paint, and because they're all openly doing deals with their white massa to get more money so they can marry non-black women, sell out their whole damn community, and look at where it's at. And then they sit here and try to act like they're going to offer you something. What the hell? They're not paying you. They're not getting the Cash App. Fuck out of here.
It's always like just a mess of my mind. Some of the lightest skinned black people I've ever seen be the most pro-black. And some of the darkest black people I've ever seen be the most Sambo.
Yeah, because they're fighting for access. Duh. They're fighting for access into the community because they don't believe they have another option, sadly. But of course, that's kind of why I'm here, doing my little part, I can say, just to let people know, well, you actually do, in fact, have a mulatto option. I'm not going to hold your hand or sugarcoat shit. If you feel like my language is too extreme, go to somewhere else. Go somewhere else. You have other platforms where they'll kind of sugarcoat shit. But over here, straight up, no chaser. This is what we're doing over here. How do you guys feel? You guys want to, I'll get into your comments. You guys want to jump up on the panel? I think I have some time. I got some good numbers right now. I do these late night streams kind of unannounced because, that's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I think I'll drop the link. I think so. If you guys want to hop up here, I'll check out some of your comments as well. But yeah. You see that, right? They look at Ice Spice, right? You said pale as fuck, and they call her black. Yeah, because she's got a juicy rump, and the dark skinned Bantus want access to her. Yeah, they're gonna be calling, Chinese albinos black, right? That's you already see what the game is, right? You already know what's up. You put right here, biracial girls gotta learn they are not black. That's why dark skins fetishize mixed girls and one drop them. Yeah. And then when they become baby mamas, like, well, shit, maybe some white boy cuck. That's what I see what happens. Maybe they'll pay the bill. That's cool. Use a strap on them because that's usually how it goes. That's some cuck shit. Who else would sign up for that? What man with dignity and self respect would sign up for that? Okay. Mamasa said, "You is a ninja like me, but I'm Native American. Yeah, coppered colored. Yeah, Bantu colored. Yeah, they're calling themselves coppered colored. It's that black label they don't want. They want to foist and wield that black label over mixed people, but they themselves don't even want that shit. They're calling themselves indigenous and coppered colored, right? That's the most pathetic and despicable part about it, is they don't even like the labels that are attached to them, but they're trying to push it onto you, right? That's the sad part. Yeah, it's very despicable, right? And all they're gonna do is say, "Oh, you're anti-black," and okay, that's cool as long as you cash. If you're not paying me, like, I'm not even dealing with you. It's just despicable at this point. You get nothing out of it. And for the mulattoes who do, cool, good to you guys. I see you guys on social media. You make your money. Usually, I see it with the ladies. Okay, on TikTok or whatever, because they got the dark skinned simps in their chat. They got the dark skinned simps, and they're the ones that get the free kind of ego boost and, oh, you're so pretty and blah blah and all this stuff, right? They're even telling fat bitches, they're fat mulattoes, whatever. Like, they're telling like people who are kind of mid, average, and these dark skins gas them up. They inflate the marketplace, and that's the shit. That's the thing, man. Where it's like, I like people who are mixed and they identify as mixed. That's why I'm there. But I go into some of these TikTokers and it's like they got nothing but black guys, dark skinned guys in the chat. And it's like, fuck, man. It's like, it's so easy for them. Good for them. Like I said, if they can get their coins from these dudes, that's cool. Yeah, one of Philip Scott's female hosts was laughing and trolling Drake and taking a side with Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, I mean, they're racist, dark skinned Bantus. See, they're gonna try to get the women on their side and try to like position the men as being weak or corny or something. Yeah, that's what they do. That's their community. That's the modus operandi. But the thing is, like I said, when the women, once they have kids by these guys and then like they're single moms, like, well, they can't really come back, can they? Are the mulatto men gonna find them as being cream of the crop? I highly doubt it. Yeah, 9 ether beings is what they say. Yeah, 9 ether beings. Yeah. Flaring nostrils, Society of America trying to delineate. I love that. Yeah, the flaring nostrils. Yeah. It's just, bro, it's not even like the skin complexion. We look at your facial symmetry, your flaring nostrils, your zucchini nose. Like, we don't even look the same as you, bro. And then, like I said, they'll like expose themselves by spreading their own self-hate, trying to try to humble you, saying, well, you just look like a black person. You look like a light-skinned black, as you just saw Exhibit A, what Phil did with the lady in the video. We just consider you light-skinned black. If you wouldn't have told me you had a white mom, I wouldn't even known. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what they do. Crazy. It's not just her skin tone, it's how her face looks also. And it even goes down to people's body shapes. Turn outfits, turn outfits, not just her skin tone. It's how her face looks. Yeah, the facial symmetry is really what it's all about. Yeah, she's in the UK. I mean, I don't know. It's a hip hop culture. But like I said, that dude, shout out to him for letting her know. Well, by you saying you're black, you're showing that you don't like your white heritage, your European heritage. That says a lot about you. So you probably got some mommy issues there. That's the first thing I think of. You got a white mom white mama biracial who says that she's a subgroup to black people, and she's a biracial baby mama. That lets you know she doesn't have a good relationship with her white mom. Lets you know right there. Trying to be so down with black folks. And she wants to, pretend like we're looking at you like you don't even look like them. Okay. The mulattoes that run around looking to be adopted by monoracials are weird. Yeah. Features are more important than skin tone. Skin tone can vary, but features don't. They have to be inherited. Good. Yeah. 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 I agree. He said, I believe he has a full blown black kid. Yeah, I think his first child is black. And his recent child, I think he has a couple kids. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into his personal life. It's not my business. It's personal, right? Only the gay blacks do that type of shit. But this guy, yeah, I know for a fact because he's publicized that he has his partner, his Mexican partner. He has a mixed kid, Blaxican. So of course he's against mixed people, identifies mixed because he wants to tell his own offspring, his own daughter, "Well, you're just black. The world's gonna see you as black," and try to like scare her about white people and shit. That's very sad, man. They push that crap. She doesn't need to be accepted by monoracials. Yeah, Phil Scott's weird. Yeah. But there's like all these mixed people out here. Like, why don't you network and connect with them? You know, I'm the big bad, the mean guy. I get it. But it's like, look, there's other people you can connect with as well. What the hell? Go connect with them. And a lot of you do. I mean, it's gotten to the point now. Yeah, you have a lot of the kind of rad femmes, kind of in the mixed space, which is unfortunate. An LGBT crowd and stuff, and so it's kind of there's a lot of that you run into, specific on Facebook, I would say, but it's on Instagram, which is all meta. Facebook, Instagram, you see that. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's just whatever. Let me continue on. Phil is confused. He's half Pan-Africanist, half FBA spewing propaganda on black immigrants, pro-black but swirling. Bro, that's the thing. He's pro-black, but he's a swirler. That term you use there is swirler. He has a fucking non-black wife. How is it that black people, a lot of his supporters are so dumb and naive to support him, knowing he doesn't have a black partner? So all his pro-black rhetoric gets thrown out the door. Like, this guy's not genuine. But yeah, like I said, he was Pan-Africanist, right? Before this FBA stuff was popping, he was Pan-African. His network, his channel was like Pan-African, whatever, network or whatever. He's pro-black, Pan-African, but now he's jumping on this whole FBA lineage and Black American stuff because it's just riding the pro-black wave, right? Basically chasing the audience. Instead of standing firm in what he's doing, he's chasing after the audience. Wherever the audience is going in that pro-black kind of network. Because remember, they're confused people. They're former slaves. So they switch up their identities every few years. They were talking that more shit several years ago. Then they switched to the Hebrew Israelite. Now they switched to the whole, indigenous coppered colored bullshit. See, they're confused, and they project their identity confusion onto biracial people. They want you to be their foot soldiers and absorb you and neutralize you, right? Because they're jealous. They're competing with you for acceptance from white people. And yeah, so they go in waves. Pan-African, more Hebrew Israelite, and then, now it's this coppered colored Indian BS. So it's just, they go in waves. And what he's doing, the Phil Advice Show, he's chasing after the audience. Wherever the kind of momentum is at, that then he'll change his platform to cater to them. And like you said, he's a swirler. He's so pro-black, but he's married to a Mexican. You can't make this up, man. You cannot make it up. Shout out to you, Maya. Yeah, I saw your comment. Phil Scott, the type to say she doesn't like black men, but she black. Her father black. Yeah, that's what they all do. They try to shame the women. Your daddy's black, but she don't like black men. She got daddy issues, right? But you could say the same with them. They got black moms, but they don't like black women. They got mommy issues. You say the same with them. right? Could be just a hip hop culture. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. My whole thing is, man, when they're baby mamas, they need to be humble. And like, there's too many of these people, like baby mamas from these guys, and they're very loud and obnoxious. They need to be humble. That's the whole thing. Like, you chose wrong, you fucked up, you made a big mistake, okay? But come out here with some decency. They still try to act like they're like on top of shit. And you got knocked up by one of these losers? I don't think so. It is crazy. They'll delineate from Africa, but they won't delineate from someone mixed race across the planet who doesn't live in the United States. Yeah, they don't. That's the thing. Shout out to you, man. Your comment wins the day. I can do a whole series and videos on this because it just shows you the pathology of this conquered North American Bantu that was enslaved, where they'll delineate from Africans, like from Nigeria or from Kenya. They'll be like, well, we're not the same as them. And they look exactly the same. They'll say, we're not the same as them. That just shows you their self-hate and pathology, Bantu pathology, which I coined. They will delineate from black people all over Africa, but they'll look at a mulatto, a mixed race person with a whole white parent in England, in the UK, and they'll try to make this bridge and they won't delineate from her. They'll say, well, she's just like us. You're just the same as us. But see, they pull that shit, like I said, with the women. There's a gender component here because that's their preference, their light skin mixed preference. So they want to bastardize her and neutralize mulatto. So that's their preference, remember, because they hate themselves, right? They have black moms. They don't prefer black women. They prefer a mixed woman. They hate themselves. So that's what it is. Yeah, they're not going to delineate from the mixed race mulatto woman around the planet. They'll go to the DR and try to convince these, and in Brazil, and convince the mixed women. Didn't I share that video with Austin Holloman, who was saying, oh, these Afro Latinas, they just want to marry white and get with white guys. You know, they want their offspring to be white, but that's what he's doing, right? They want non-black women. And I think he went to Kenya, whatever. Good for him, Austin Holloman. But a lot of them, yeah, they go to these countries and places. They want non-black women. They hate themselves, but they project it on everyone else to say that, oh, it's you that hate yourself. You don't want to be with me. Why the hell would they want to be? We don't look the same as you. Well, race is a social construct. Okay, well then cut off all that black shit. All that black shit you're talking, pro-black and black community, all that shit. If race is a social construct, because the same people who spew that nonsense about race as a social construct, you examine their social media, it's all this black shit. See, race is only a social construct for everybody else who has a tribal identity. Okay. See, this is how they try to neutralize and disarm you. Yeah, race is a social construct so they can get everyone else to not have a self-interest. But they're going to keep their black identity. They're going to stay race conscious for black people to get political power and social clout. You guys notice that with all these like race social construct people, they're very super Afrocentric and pro-black. It's very convenient, isn't it? Oh, Remy Ma or Sexy Red is black. Yeah. They love claiming heavily admixed Ashanti, but not Serena Williams, not Remy, or Sexy Red. Yeah, I don't know about Remy Ma. I don't know her music, or I know Sexy Red. Excuse me, she's a degenerate. I know what's his name. Drake brought her out to his concert, whatever. But in the UK recently, but Sexy Red, she has that song where she's talking about her booty hole is brown, and like that, So it's just whatever, man. Like that's their culture, bro. That's their culture. Yeah, their booty hole is brown culture. That's their culture. Meg the Stallion, that's their culture. Da Baby. He's a little short, dark skinned guy. He doesn't like light skinned guys. He's not cool with them. He don't trust them. Right? But he loves the light skinned women. That's their culture. So I look at light skinned guys who identify with them. To me, you're already just a punk and a bitch. I don't even fucking mess with you, bro. Just stay away from me. You're over there. Go stay over there. Don't come over where I'm at, bro. I don't even want to see you. You identify with them. Go keep your weak ass over there with them. Don't come over here. It's funny. He's so pro-black, but back in the day, he used to be superb anti-black woman. He scrubbed it off the internet. Yeah, because he's adjacent to the whole Tommy Sotomayor. He saw how Tommy Sotomayor during that time was getting some traction, doing reaction videos about, black women acting a fool, right? So he was a part of that kind of wave, right? Yeah, and he got, so he saw that Tommy Sotomayor was getting a following. People could laugh at kind of black women acting stupid, but they were doing videos of kind of the lower caliber black females. Yeah, and he's part of that whole net. He's part of that network, bro. That YouTube, social media, grifter sphere shit, Tommy Sotomayor and Philip Scott, rest of the grifters, Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed wrote some books doing some pimp lessons and shit, Mac lessons, and now he's pro-black. He's just pro-black, the black family, black history, and all. Yeah, he's doing all these pimp lessons. Yeah, I mean, this is where they're at. My whole thing is if you're mulatto and you identify with them, stay over there. Have fun. I hope you get money and it works out well. But don't come over here with that weak shit. I don't want you over here. If you identify with them, this is not the spot for you. It's not a safe space for you. It's not. I'm going to let you know that in so many ways. Yeah, Kwame Brown is disrespecting mixed people more than anyone I heard and seen. Yeah, he's another dark-skinned Bantu who's a hater. Because in his sport, he's a bust. He was just a weak-ass ball player in basketball. Nobody gives a shit about his weak, dark-skinned ass, Kwame Brown. What is he, like 6'9"? He's still weak and dark skinned. No one gives a fuck about his ass. But yeah, he's basketball. And now you see in basketball, all the light skins are just tearing shit up. Jason Turner or Jalen Turner and Steph Curry, all these cats. They call it the National Biracial Association. The light skins dominate, basketball. So of course the bust Kwame Brown's gonna be hating. No one gives a shit. Yeah, he's resorting back to his childhood because he had childhood trauma. Didn't he say when he was younger, everyone used to clown his ass because he was dark skinned and shit? When he was talking crap on that one dude, Matt Barnes. Remember that's what he was saying? Oh, when I was younger, man, it's payback time because when I was younger, everyone used to talk shit about me when I was dark skinned. I think he's still living through that trauma right now because he sees the NBA. The trajectory, everything is switching up. It's all like light skinned biracial dominates. I don't even watch NBA. I watch MMA, UFC, PFL, bare knuckle fighting, and just boxing. I watch combat sports. That's the only sports I watch is fighting, combat sports. I don't even watch the NBA. But just from my observation, when you guys share something or the media, whatever I'm looking out here, like it's like this mighty lights. These dudes are all biracial, mighty light, the top players. Same thing with NFL. So yeah, of course the dude's hating. Of course, he's a has-been, he's a bust. And everything's it's turning back in full circle. We just need more of the men to stop being punks. The women, it doesn't matter. I know it's easy to kind of complain about the women or whatever, but it's like, look, if they want to be baby mamas, they need to have fun over there. But it's up to the men. The men got to create a situation where we can thrive and the women will feel pedestalized and feel safe, like they belong. But it's up to the men to develop something. Because you guys, you males, you identify with people who hate you. Like that's the issue. You identify with the Umars, the Phil Advise show, the Tariq Nasheed. You advise, like they look at you as competition. You might not think they're your competition. We don't look at them as competition. We're not competing. We're like, you're nobody. Kwame Brown, 6'9", dark skin. We don't give a shit about you. You ain't nobody. But they look at you as competition. And a lot of guys don't understand that. But the guys got to realize, you guys got to stop identifying with them. I say it all the time. Phil Scott and Tariq Nasheed are grifters. They're only after cash gains. Yeah, for sure. It's an easy market, pro-black market. Phil Scott, I believe, is still anti-black woman. I believe he's all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's so fixated on how mixed women identify. That's very telling. I've noticed they worship the ground whites walk on even when they claim to be pro-black. I know. Despicable, huh? Yeah, Zucchini knows. Sage Steele is more on the Italian, more towards the Italian side. That's why she looks so different. Interesting. He talks like the next generation will magically turn into full-blown Bantus. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude's tripping, man. I treat them Bantu guys like Phil Scott the same way. I tell a Bantu chick like Remy Ma, you know you want a mulatto or quadroon baby. Yeah. If anything, next generation will be less and less Bantu. And how many of them are dating and marrying interracially? It's time mulattoes get a little petty right beside these Phil Scott types. The black man of America is trying to better his race by worshiping anything that doesn't look like him. Yeah. Do I got a sound bite for that? I think I got something. I'm a little slow on these. Yeah, you basically hit the nail on the head right there, right? Right? They're trying to better their race and they don't see their own self-hate and their pathology. And then they'll blame white people for their self-hate. They'll blame black women for their self-hate and colorism. That's very convenient. With these black manosphere guys, they're always going to blame black women for everything, why they hate themselves. It's very despicable and cowardly. How can you respect them when there's no accountability as a man? Be like, look, I fucked up. Let me correct this. No accountability. They got to blame somebody. They got a scapegoat, right? Got to blame the white man. Got to blame the mulatto. Got to blame black women. Got to blame somebody for why they're failures or they're fucking up. They know nothing about our experiences. Exactly. Yeah. But they try to talk about it. Well, the white people are going to be scared of her because of genetic annihilation. No, they're scared of you, you zucchini nose dude. They're not scared of Meghan Markle for that. Okay. They're scared of you, Phil Scott. So he's projecting all that. Yeah. And they act like they know. They want to talk about our experiences. They love pushing this lie that we have the black experience. We don't. We have the mulatto experience, which means the whites are going to be fearful because they know we were raised around whites, so we'll challenge them. And then the blacks are going to be jealous. See, with whites, it's fear. Whites aren't jealous of mulattoes. It's fear because they can't contain us like they can the dark-skinned Bantu. But with the black, with them, it's jealousy. It's all jealous because blacks aren't fearful of what they're fearful of is that we'll cut off access to them. They'll lose sexual access. And that mainly in context is they're fearful that the mulatto men will get their shit together and build communities and networks and businesses where they can bring in mulatto women and mulatto women will feel safe and marry the men. They're fearful we'll have our own community. And it's going to start with the men. So that's what they're fearful with the men, and for the female that we'll have our own communities. But more so, with the Bantu is they're jealous. They're jealous of our proximity to whiteness. But yeah, with the whites, it's more so fear because we're not going to acquiesce to their hegemony. We're going to compete with them, as mulattoes always do. But they complain how we are more accepted and treated better. Make it make sense. Yeah, they say we have the black experience, but then they pull this colorism or light skin privilege crap and say, you're treated better, though. You're more accepted. White people treat you better. I don't want you representing to be a black woman because you're not a real black woman, right? Remember they were whining and crying about Zoe Saldana playing Nina Turner? Remember that? Dark-skinned Bantus crying. Well, you're not a real black woman. You don't have the black experience, right? But then they'll turn around and be like, well, you have the black experience. Them whites aren't going to accept you. You got a white mama. It's like, okay, good. As long as your black ass knows your place over there, don't come over here acting funny. You can, I'll just block your ass. And I find great enjoyment in doing that. From what I understand, Meghan Markle has a pretty good circle of friends, mostly white people. So apparently the number of those folks do accept her. Yeah. I always state that. It's like, okay, the white people are so bad, but they have all this, they're offering you opportunities and network and skill sets they can train you on, etc. It's like, okay. Yeah. What's the bands who can help you out? Do you learn a two-step? Learn a cool hip hop beat? Okay. Meghan Markle has a pretty solid circle. Yeah, same comment from the Owl Show. Mr. No biracial content, no content Owl Show. But you always upload content. But you don't produce content. Okay. All right, Al. I've never heard you say anything anti-black. Ironically, Phil's content is 1,000 times more anti-black than yours ever will be. You just tell the truth how it is. Straight up, no chaser. Yep. So it looks like some of those folks do accept Meghan Markle. Dr. Umar got a new video in South Africa saying to a crowd, paraphrasing, "My colored Africans deny they're black. When Africa rises, colored people are going to want to claim, yeah, when is Africa going to rise? Yeah, don't hold your breath." Yeah. You know, you have Chinese going, all the other investors, Arab people going back from Lebanon, going throughout the whole continent, different countries. Yeah. Arab Lebanese, right? And you know, wishful thinking. But he's going to Africa. See, he can't proselytize and do that crap in America. Dr. Umar Johnson, but he's going to Africa and pushing that crap. But see, the black people, a lot of them, they subjugate and marginalize colored communities in South Africa. But he's never going to talk about that. They deny them jobs. I have colored audience. I have colored men and women who are subscribers who've been on panels that I connect with. They say that these people, the black people, they deny jobs to colored people. Dr. Umar's never going to talk about that, is he? Of course not. It's not aligned with his agenda. Yeah, the blacker the berry, the more disgrace the juice. Yeah. Yeah, the black. No, I mean, he says, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but the thing is, with the whole black of the berry, that's whole Kendrick Lamar, right? He's got a fucking mixed race baby mama. Oh, well, she's not mixed race. She got 2 black parents. Bullshit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I guess, yeah. Yeah. Nobody can provide any receipts on that. She has 2 dark-skinned Bantu parents, and she came out all mixed race. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll believe it. Yeah, black or the berry. Flood, Philip, comment section. Nah, because it doesn't even matter. Philip Scott, the comment section. I don't even, they're going to block you anyways. It's funny how they try to say, well, you're a trauma bonding echo chamber, right? But in those pro-black spaces, there's no room for kind of discourse. If you don't agree with them, they just block you. I've been blocked from like the Black Authorities channel and shit. And I think one of Dr. Boyce Walken, I've been blocked from some of these people's channels. Yeah. If you disagree with them, they just block you and get you up out of there. They control their propaganda machine. Okay. So when we have our own media outlets, you're damn right. I'm not gonna let those people run up in here acting stupid. This ain't their spot. They can go back to Philip Scott, go over there, go back to Cynthia G, the rest of them. Don't come over here. Scott is just peddling the same old disinformation about mixed race people. It's the whole one drop Jim Crow complex. Yeah, exactly, right? It's the one drop rule and Jim Crow complex combined. That's what it is, yeah. Remember, he's from the South. He's from Texas out there. So he's going to push that slave state rhetoric. Well, you're just considered black. The whites don't accept you. I was like, okay. And there's a girl out there in Texas. Her name, she goes to a Baylor University. Her name is, I covered her story a while ago. She got shot by some Mexican guy and she recovered from it, but she's a cheerleader. Peyton Washington's her name. And I look at her network, like I follow her on social media, but like all of her friends, like a lot of her friends are like white and stuff. They're all cheering her on. They work out together. They're lifting her up. They're doing flips and cartwheels. And it's like, okay, she's surrounded by all these white people, but you listen to the Bantu, they're going to tell you they don't like you, really. They don't really. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, the Bantus like us so much, not like us. Yeah, sure. This how my parents are. My mom mulatto, my dad's an admix black American. Yeah, right. And a lot of people like that have a phenotype that are mixed. And the thing is, and then you have guys like Philip Scott who's gonna lie and pretend and be like, well, those are 2 black parents. Like that's the thing with the whole Kenny, little Kendra's baby mama Whitney, where the blacks are trying to say, well, she's from Compton, she has 2 black parents. See, they're gonna one drop the mulatto parent as being black. That's what it is, right? They're saying, oh, 2 black parents. Like, one of the parents is mixed, mulatto, and the other parents like admixture. Yeah, okay, yeah, 2 black parents. Okay, I guess. Yeah, see, yeah, they're never going to be technically specific because it destroys their whole kind of argument they've already arranged. Yeah. No, in the UK, they 100% see her as mixed, not black. Yeah, that's why the black guy, he had like a British accent. So he's from the UK, right? That's why he had to correct her and said, you're just as white as you are black. It's foolish for her to just say she's black. Maybe she's been watching too much American media bullshit. You know, that's possibly a thing. I know a lot of them, because a lot of Americans are dumbasses. You know, what else do I have to say? You know, look at your guys' leader. Look at I didn't vote for that piece of shit, Donald Trump. I can proudly say I didn't vote for that scumbag, but a lot of you fucking idiots did. Good for you. Yeah, how's that working out for you? You know, so yeah, what it is they're watching the American media and social media and stuff, right? Because all these apps, they're all developed in America, right? TikTok, or I think TikTok's Chinese kind of, but Instagram and YouTube and all this stuff, Facebook. So they're watching a lot of the Americans act stupid and pretend, even these mixed people, mixed Americans acting black. So some of these probably people in the UK, they watch that and they're like, oh, I guess I'm black too. I can dance to hip hop songs and act like Cardi B, and I guess I'm black too. And okay, yeah. You know, and I'm because I follow some of these people. I'm looking at them like, your ass don't even look black. I mean, just stop trying to act dumb. You know, dancing around to these stupid songs on TikTok, and like, your ass ain't black, man. Okay. I heard United Kingdom has mulattoes under a racial category in the census. Yeah, they have mixed race. That's the term that they use. Most of the mulattoes you talk to, I'm mixed race. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, the person who's half white and half Indian, they're mixed race too. So clearly you guys aren't the same. So now what? I'm mixed race. Like, you know, even the Tate brothers say, I'm mixed race. I'm mixed race. I'm mixed race. What the fuck does that mean? You're mulatto. You have a white mama or a white daddy and a black parent. You're mulatto. I'm mixed race. I'm mixed race. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, the guy who has an Indian mom and a white father, yeah, they're mixed race too. Cool. I guess you guys are both the same. Cool. Yeah, good for you. See, with mulatto, I'm mulatto. All right. Yeah, just gonna leave it at that. How is he going to deal with her? She's in a different country. Oh yeah, well, because Philip Scott said that. See, when you say you're mixed, I know how to deal with you. Yeah, please, Phil, please. You got a whole Mexican wife. What the hell are you going to deal with? You're going to deal with some tortas and tamales, or what are you going to deal with, homie? Yeah. Damn, Sam. Sam's letting it all out. Well, for the most part, they worship dark-skinned males, right? So how can you really, right? When you see the current state of affairs, where it's like the dark-skinned guy worships light-skinned and mixed women and white women, but then you still have these kind of people who like still worship the guy who doesn't worship them. It's kind of like it's kind of pathetic, right? You kind of lose respect. You're like, well, I'd rather deal with another female who has a culture, who has self-respect, because you deal with a woman who doesn't, like, I'm not trying to get power over a female. I want to meet a woman I want a woman who's proud and educated, who likes herself. I don't want a woman who doesn't like herself. And that's the thing, when you deal someone who wants a guy, but the guy rather, like, you know, it's very bizarre. That's what I'm saying. Like, I lose all respect for that. Right? Okay, you want the dark skinned guy, but the dark skinned guy wants light skinned, white, or mixed women, but you still want that guy. Like, that says a lot about you. It's very pathetic. It's very pathetic. How could you like value someone like that, who's chasing a group of guys who don't even want them? That's pitiful. It's just, no, there's other people to deal with. Not sure who Sam is. Sam is letting it all out here in the chat. His words, not mine. Even though I'm the the worst guy up here. Yeah, because I show myself and I tell the world, fuck you. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. I tell people, I don't care. This ain't for you. Okay. I'm speaking for the mulattoes unapologetically. You guys got to have your own shit. Everybody unapologetically has their black networks, their white networks, but the code word they use is patriots, right? They have their heritage, nationalism. Like, they have their own networks. The Mexicans have their own, Asians, everybody has their own shit. But when the mulatto jumps up here, see, and you're going to find out the Bantus work with the Anglos to neutralize you. Okay. So a lot of you have woken up. That's good. I'd like to see more of you. That's my whole thing here. They call themselves natives. We are indigenous to America. Yeah. And that's erasure to the actual indigenous people. And it's very despicable. You don't see that many native people, but if you travel this country and you go, in close proximity to reservations or on a reservation, you will see these people. Like, I've driven through Arizona, the state of Arizona, and New Mexico, and there's reservations out there, and I've come across, that's where I've came across most of the native people. And then even in Oklahoma, you have a native population, but a lot of them are mixed, and a lot of native people around the country are mixed as well. To find like a pure blooded, native person is you got to really kind of look, right? You got to really like do like you're kind of exploring, because a lot of them are mixed, and that whole term half breed, that was a term designated to them, to people who are half Anglo and half Indian. It's just the racist blacks have took that term and applied it to us. Just like the term half caste, if you do the etymology and do a Google search, that applies to people who are half Indian, East Indian, and half Anglo. If you're half half African and half European, we have a term. It's called mulatto. And I know you pussies and you bitches and you black identified people, you don't like the term. Well, you can just go somewhere else. You don't accept it. You don't accept your identity, and that's on you. You're weak. You're a bitch. I'll straight up tell you that. Like, that's our term. But they're trying to put that whole half caste on you. That's not our term. That's for Indians and whites. Half Indian, half white, just like half breed. That's for someone who is half in the United States, who is half Native American, indigenous, and half white. And it's, but these racist blacks take that term and they throw it on mulattoes to try to like punk you. But when you say you're mulatto, who has an issue with that? The same damn black. The same black who's calling you half breed. That's the same damn black who doesn't like you using the word mulatto. They're more offended by the word mulatto than you. That tells you everything you need to know. They want to have power over you. Just a little minor history lesson right there, right? They worship Rihanna and Beyonce when it comes to guys like Drake, Michael B. You see how that goes. Yeah. Yeah, because Rihanna and Beyonce, they're at least like 25, 30%, non-black, right? They're basically, yeah, they're mixed women. I'm not a fan of either one of them. What they call Rihanna, Riri, whatever. Her music's ghetto and rap. I don't like her music. It's like hood rap music. And Beyonce, I don't like Beyonce either. Okay, she does this like weird ass feminist shit. To the left, and like she's married to a fucking crack dealer, Jay-Z. I don't like either one of them. Just gonna put it out there. It burns the Bantu to know that his Bantu mother fantasized about mulatto kings. I don't know who this guy is, bro. Sam, I've never seen you before, but you're going hard in the paint. I've had a dark-skinned Jamaican chick get angry at me because I wasn't going along with her flirting with me. She said, I don't know who these light-skinned or Latinos, whatever they are, think they is. She said that. She thought, was she fine or whatever? I've smashed a couple of Jamaicans, but it's just, yeah. Yeah, black American women, black Jamaican women, black Rican women, black Dominican women, black Somalian, black Ethiopian chicks have all been at my neck. They love mulatto guys. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So you've tested out the market. I see dark skins are the ones getting done bad all over the internet. I don't know. This guy's going hard in the paint. White and light skinned men are true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. These light skins are straight up punks, man. They identify with blacks. I'm publicly, I don't care. I'm done with you guys. You know, if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. But a lot of you I see out here, you act just like a fucking Bantu, and I don't even need you over here. Oh, I'm just light skinned, but they my people. Good, help them out. They need all the help. Help them out, bro. Hire them. Support their businesses. Fucking get the fuck up out my shit. I see too many punk ass mulattoes. I gotta get up out of here because they act like bitches. They identify with Bantus. They're against other mulatto men networking. Get up out of here. This ain't the spot for you, bro. I'm not saying you, the gentleman, whatever in the comments. I'm just speaking in general terms because, with my network, there's a lot of people who comment. I put a video, whatever I do. People put their little comments, and I'm like, what the hell? What is this hoe doing here? What? Another one that Bantus always claim that black women can birth any phenotype. It's called the Eve gene. Even if Sexy Red has a child with Kanye West, it can come out mixed. Yeah, right. Yeah, mixed black and black. Yeah. Any yeah, I know, and that's the thing. The black gene, like, doesn't Kanye West have a couple mixed kids with Kim Kardashian, right? Yeah, the Eve gene. Yeah, okay. Any Bantu man defending that Eve gene shit getting cheated on because if two Bantus make a child and it comes out looking like Laura London, then a mixed man went inside her. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this guy makes a good point. He says Phil Advice Show has a black baby mama that he did not get along with, just like Tariq. Interesting. You notice that? Both of them are kind of like anti-black women, but that's who their support is as well. That a lot of them, they're kind of hopeless. They know that a lot of the males in their own group don't even respect them or prefer them. They don't have nowhere to go. They're trying that divester shit, to go with the white guys, but that's only going to go so far. White guys are not, they only get the lower quality guys. I mean, Candace Owens, because she's attractive enough, she has good facial symmetry. That's featureism. Well, okay, well, fucking deal with it. And everybody of every group, like, that featureism is a cop out for people who are not attractive or they have ugly facial features. Because Candace Owens has good facial features. She's not ugly. I just don't like her politics. She's just too much of a whatever term you want to use. I don't like her politics. I don't like, she's just, yeah. But whatever. The thing is, she got a white guy, right? Probably has some money and stuff, whatever. So you have people like that who can get white dudes, but a lot of these divestors, they get like basic Brads and bottom of the barrel dudes, So from my observation, for divestors on the social media types, what I'm saying is they tried that kind of movement. I don't think it's going to go too far because white guys are going to want white women. Not only that, a lot of these white guys, they're going to get Latinas. They want Latina women because like the hottest chicks we see are Latinas. So every group of guys is going to want a Latina. Even Phil Advice Show got a Hispanic, right? A lot of these mulatto men, they have access to these women. So it's like, it's yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but I agree with your analysis, your observation here with this Philip Scott. Yeah, and Tariq, they both have black baby mamas, right? And it didn't work out with them, so now they got non-black women. Yeah, but they're still pro-black. Interesting, isn't it? Right? You read on Shitstick Alley. Shitstick Alley, yeah. We got gay black guys and then fat lesbian black females. It's the whole gang stalking network, right? Shitstick Alley, right? Fat lesbian, gay blacks, weirdos, just basically drooling at the mouth, trying to, harass and stalk all the mixed and light skinned people, right? South African colored males marry Bantu women, but not the other way around. I don't know. Even in DR, you have Dominican guys that hook up with Haitian chicks, right? Because there's a lot of Dominicans who would try to act like, well, the Haitian guys, they go to the DR to get Dominican women, and they kind of sensationalize that, but they don't tell the other side of the story. A lot of Dominican guys get Haitian women because it's kind of easier. They can easily get access to a female. They could probably even get a higher upper echelon Haitian female just by the fact that the Dominican guy is like Hispanic or mestizo, whatever, lighter skin, he can get a dark skinned Haitian chick and they can have kid. I saw that, man. I was in Santo Domingo last year. I seen a lot of cases of like a Hispanic Dominican guy with his like Haitian partner, and they have mulatto kids. That happens a lot in the Dominican Republic, but a lot of the people, they don't talk about that too. They only talk about it when it's like a Haitian guy, you know, with a Dominican partner, right? Because it's an easy way for them kind of cop out to kind of paint the narrative that they don't like their own Haitian women. They just want a light skinned Dominican woman, which, I mean, Dominican women are good looking women, but let's talk about the other side as well, too. Like that does happen. Firsthand knowledge, I saw that. You said Navajo in the West. Yeah. And that's where I explored that territory out there. Navajo Nation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's you can go to like a gas station. You drive out there for hours, whatever, in a desert. There's nothing out there. You go to a gas station, you go there, you see native people there, right? And you don't really see them anywhere else. And yeah, you might, yeah. So out there in Arizona and stuff, yeah, Navajo Nation. Yep, yep. Even in the Grand Canyon area or out there in what's that spot? Um I forgot. Oh, Flagstaff. Yeah, yeah, out there. It's out near Arizona or New Mexico. Yeah, that's where you'll find a lot of that, a lot of native people and stuff. Yeah, real natives, not these coppered colored fake kind of pro black people. Blood quantum, even DNA sites use South America as Mesoamerican native tribes as a template for checking native ancestry in the States, since there are no fully blooded American natives to compare with. Yeah, a lot of the native people, like I said, to find a full blooded person, a native person is kind of rare. A lot of them, that's been their community's kind of history. They've been mixed in with the Anglos and even other groups, even African Americans. And that's why you find this kind of reemergence of African Americans who hate themselves, who don't want to identify as black. They'll sit there and be like, I got 10%, or 8% native DNA. So I'm actually an Indian. That's my family tree. Like you have a whole movement. What's this guy's name? Dan Calloway or something like that. You have a whole movement of them, of these kind of FBA sycophants, detractors, so to speak, who have splintered off and created their own kind of little indigenous wacky world network, where they got like minimal native ancestry they can trace and they're running with it. That's their whole identity now. You have a black person with their fucking afro hair. They're throwing in a couple feathers in their afro, calling themselves Indians. Fuck out of here. Because you got 5%, Cherokee blood. You're pretending and prancing around, cosplaying as like an Indian. That's crazy. You see that. You see dark skinned Bantus, right? And they put in a couple feathers in their hair. They got like less than 4% native ancestry, and they're calling themselves Indians. That is the wackiness of America. It's just beyond belief, man. These people out here. Shout out to you, Val. It's always a pleasure to see you here. Appreciate you, as always. You're probably right. Most of these guys are spineless. They give away their power willingly, is what it is, as long as we know the truth. Yeah. Women are not compartmental, which is why black women are so race loyal. Damn. They're more race loyal than white women, aren't they? Isn't that interesting? Because the white guys are complaining. They're blaming it on Jewish people. They're like, it's the media. It's the media. It's the Jewish people and media. Why these white women, they're programmed to be with black guys. Really? Really? That's pretty pathetic, man. Because I'm not blaming black guys for why they program a mixed woman. My whole thing to prefer a dark skin yeah, I'm not blaming yeah, black guys for why a mixed woman prefers a dark skinned black guy. My whole thing is, hey, have fun, sweetheart. Just once you're a baby mama by them, I really don't want to hear the pro mix shit, because I see a lot of you guys, gals, okay? Okay, and now you're pro mixed, and it's like, well, what, I just don't want to hear it. I don't care, but I'm not gonna blame them. It's like, have fun. You get a good deal over there. Have fun. Get the best deal you can. But yeah, the race loyal thing is Yeah, I think that black females are more race loyal than white women, in my personal opinion. But hey, good for them. I mean, they look at their results. Good for them. And the only non-white guy group that checks for them are Puerto Ricans, which are seen as low class by other Latinos. Damn, why are they seen as low class by other Latinos? Why is that? It's a small country, Puerto Rico. Interesting to know, because I've never had that. I'm from California, and so so the group of people that the Latino population I'm used to dealing with is Mexican. So, and you see with Donald Trump and the rhetoric, like with the whole build the wall and deport them, that's not directed at Puerto Ricans because they're American citizens. And Puerto Rico is an American kind of colony. People don't like to hear that, but that's technically what it is. You don't need a passport. You just go there with a driver's license of Puerto Rico. You have cellular service. You don't need a SIM card. You just go right over to Puerto Rico. It's American kind of territory. But for where I'm from, California, it's not seen as that. Puerto Ricans are not seen as, you put, lower class. It's the population that are majority in California, the Hispanic population majority in California, that would be where I'm from. That's typically what people would look at as being the kind of lower class one. But I don't know. You're saying Puerto Ricans are. I don't know where geographically where you're at to come to that conclusion and who is giving you that information. But that's not how it's seen where I'm from. And the politics reflects that, as I already stated, with the whole build the wall. They're not building the wall of Puerto Rico. They're not mass deportating. They can't mass deport Puerto Ricans when they have U.S. citizenship. So you want to explain low class? I mean, yeah. Don't do favors for dark skins. Don't lend them money. Don't be their friend. Fight them. So who is this guy, Sam, bro? Like, who is this guy? Are you trying to make us look bad or divisive over here? I've never seen this guy. I'm just reading the comments, but it's like, if you really believe that, you got to stand on that shit and create a channel and make videos. If you believe that, don't lend money. You said don't be their friend. Why not? Yeah, don't be their friend. If it's mutual, if you get something from them, be friends with everybody. I mean, it's but that the kind of tone is very combative. Don't be their friend. Why not? I don't give a damn what color t-shirt you have on, your skin color, whatever. That's not even a factor. Do I emphasize dark skin Bantu? You're damn right I do. Because when you go on all their social medias, and please don't make me get the receipts, you see all the comments about light skin. Oh, this light skin. Oh, you weak and you light skin. Blah, blah. They want to talk about you being light skin. You're damn fucking right. I'm going to talk about you being dark skin. Go cry to whites about that shit. I'm not playing with none of you people. See, they wanted that the whole double standard. I'm not playing that game. And I always put it's because these punk ass light skins co-sign that shit. You guys could change all of this by next week. But you feel, I don't have nowhere to go. It's my people. I'm from the hood. Okay, well, stay a bitch then. Yeah, I seen mulatto Dominican guys and mestizo Dominicans with black Haitian chick. Yeah, you see that in Santo Domingo. I don't know if you've been there. It's a big city. It's their capital out there in DR. And you're gonna see that. You're gonna see like Hispanic guys, with Haitian chicks, man. And they got their kids, they got their families. Like, yeah, it's because, like, I've seen some other people put some comments where basically it's because a lot of those ladies are easier, I guess they say, to start a family with. Maybe what the Dominican women might, I don't know, charge more or require more. I don't know. But the thing is, guys are looking for the best deal around the planet. That's why I have a lot of Anglo men in America who get Hispanic wives. What are they going to tell you? So they're easier to deal with. They're less bossy. Yeah. You have a whole movement of white guys that have like Mexican wives. Very fast growing population. Now it's easier for a lot of them to assimilate into whiteness because Mexicans mestizo. So they already have considerable Spanish ancestry. So their offspring are going to look more so European passing. So it's easier for them to kind of be molded into that body politic. But yeah, around the planet, guys are looking for the best deal. that's what you're seeing. Like, and I feel like in the Dominican Republic, that's why you'll have like Dominican guys that will probably get with a Haitian partner. They probably feel like it's a better deal for their situation. I don't know. You tell me. He said from Dominican YouTubers, they said Dominicans are more likely to have Cocolo, other Caribbean ancestry than Haitian. Can we talk about how your sisters and your family will be weird towards you too, the light and dark ones? Yeah, there's probably some programming going on there. Navajo don't intermarry with Latinos, despite YouTubers like Ricardo Ignacio trying to say there is. Yeah, Ricardo Ignacio, that dude's a Mexican guy, and his whole audience is black females. So I don't know. And then like all he does is he talks crap about mixed people who identify as mixed to appease black people who are, a lot of them, they're black Americans, are racist, anti-mulatto. And he appeases, like he appeases his black female audience. He talks crap about Dominicans and calling them colors and stuff. Yeah, I don't like that guy, Ricardo Ignacio. There's a connection between Mexican and American Indian tribes. Yeah, because a third of America, United States, you're saying, was Mexico at one point. Most black Dominican don't come from the same place as Haitians. Haitians' DNA usually lands into Congolese. Interesting, yeah. Everything you said regarding Philip Scott's wife is true. She's full-blood Spaniard and conquistador stock. Exactly. And the thing is, I want to point out as well, when it was exposed that Philip Scott married a Mexican, he tried to cover it up by doing a DNA test. And he went over her DNA test, and she had like barely any like Native American blood. He went over his wife's genealogy test. She literally had less than 10%. I don't have the exact numbers, guys. Let me pull up the image here. The image of what she looks like, not the actual test. But he did a video because he got exposed. His own audience, his own audience, they doxed him. He wanted to hide the fact that he's so pro-black and he's hiding this white woman, he sleeps with every night. He wanted to hide this from his audience. Like, how the hell are you pro-black, but this is who you're married to? But I remember when this all happened. This was a few years ago. And he basically did a video disclosing his wife's genealogy, DNA test. And I literally swear, like, he went over it. It was so vague and like very basic. But I remember seeing like her native ancestry was so minute, was like less than 10%, something so insignificant. And he was trying to pass it off. Well, she's not even white. She got like 7% native ancestry. So she's not a white woman. We're like, bro, this is what they do. He's trying to act like you don't have a colored woman. That's not a woman of color, bro. Like, he's trying to pass it off like his partner is a woman of color. She's got 7%, or I'm just using that number or whatever. Like, it was so insignificant, but he was trying to latch onto it to cover up for the fact that he basically married a mostly European white female, but he's pro-black, guy. He's in Africa. He's so pro-black. I mean, this is just so despicable, man. The scam. The FBA people hate using DNA tests. The DNA will tell them, yeah, they're basically 90% African. They're not going to like that. Yeah. But they'll see that 3% native. Yeah. Let me put some feathers in my hair. I'm indigenous and copper colored. They're going to ignore the fucking 90% African. But they see that 3%, white or 3% native. They're like, yeah, I'm an Indian now. What about the 90%, homie? See, we're not the same. You talk to someone who's a mulatto, 50-50 biracial, you do a DNA test, you're like 47% African, like what? 53%, if I'm getting the numbers right. Yeah. European are like, bro, we're not the same as you, Mr. 4% European. Fuck out of here, man. Trying to play with us. We could look the same. Yeah, okay, sure. Originally mestizo colony. The first mestizo in Spanish America. The more prominent African ancestry came later. I heard Afro-Latinos are more open to intermarry. Tainos and DR go with Spanish men from consensual, same by force. Africans are brought to Caribbean islands. Then fast forward, now mulattoes have the highest population in DR. Latin America is very classist still. The Puerto Ricans come from barrios and lived next to Black Americans. But that's the East Coast shit though, right? See, because I'm a West Coast dude. So that's their perspective about the Puerto Ricans. They grew up in barrios, live next to Black Americans. That, and I don't even know if you're even American. I don't know where you're commenting from. If you have time, if you want to jump on the panel, I'll drop the panel for you specifically. So I'm going to drop the link, not to put you on the spot, but instead of like reading the comments, I'd kind of prefer to have you come up here and vocalize this. So for Rowan, if you want to jump on the panel, if you have time. If you don't, it's cool. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is my first time seeing you over here, so I'd like to talk to you about this. But I think the perspective you're coming from is East Coast. You said Latin American is very classist, for sure. That's true. The Puerto Ricans come from barrios and live next to Black Americans, but Latinos don't like them because of their peasant background. I think that's more of an East Coast perspective, because Mexican people come from a peasant background. I'm a West Coast dude. El Salvadorians come from peasant. Like most of these cultures do in Latin America come from a peasant background. That's why they come to America. It's just like the Italians who came to America. They come from a peasant background. Just like the Irish. They're peasant, Scottish, a peasant background. A lot of people around the planet, they immigrate to America. They come from peasant backgrounds. I'm just trying to see, why is it that the Puerto Ricans are kind of labeled in a certain light like that, when it's like other groups, it's the same scenario. The Cubans are the rich ones coming here. I don't know. Right? Like I said, with the Irish, historically, was it the wealthy ones? No, they'd stay in Ireland and make their money. Is the peasant class around the planet comes here. Nowadays, it's a little different. We see with the visa process, and I was talking to someone about that, where it's like, where in their country, they had a lot of like the peasant people from the Middle East going there. But I was telling them, like, the United States is a little different. A lot of the people from either the Middle East or even from South Asia, from India, they're more of the kind of upper class. Like, they already come over here. They already have some money. They're able to get a loan and buy a house, nice house already. We're like, what the hell? They already have stuff established. They come over here. I've heard it from Cam. Oh, is that incel fucking Buster? He's anti-mulatto. You're talking about Chem123. He's like some dirty incel. I heard of that. I interacted with him once on TikTok. He's an incel. He doesn't even get any Latina pussy. Like, even Latina chicks don't mess with him. And he's just mad because Black dudes are getting Latina chicks. That's that guy's whole thing, man. And he doesn't like biracials. He doesn't like mulatto men. Yeah, you're talking about Chem123. People just respect him just because he's like Latino or something. I'm like, I would never respect that dude. That dude's an incel. He's a punk. He doesn't like mulatto men. He's an enemy to mulattoes. Fuck that fool. I would use a different Latino as a credible source, not that Chem123 pussy. Yeah, I don't regurgitate what other podcasters and many content creators say, because people jump online with their biases and have bad history with other. Now they badmouth them over something small. The Spaniards also brought in native slaves from places as far as Yucatan and modern Bahamas. So Taino is not the only native. Dominicans do have nicer bodies, though. Yeah, Ricardo Ignacio caters to Bantu females. That's the key thing. The females, yeah. And he says mixed race doesn't exist, but yet he'll identify as mixed. He'll say he's like Indian or something. He's Mexican. I got Spanish in my blood. I got native ancestry. Yeah, so mixed race is cool for him. He can claim that Mexican shit and indigenous shit. Yeah, for him. But for the mulattoes, see, he's gonna parrot the same talking points that Bantus, because that's his audience. Isn't that what the Bantus tell you? There's no such thing as mixed race. We got a one drop rule. No such thing as biracial. You're either black or white. Yeah, that's the Bantu say. Ricardo Ignacio, his whole audience is Bantu, female. So yeah, he's gonna parrot the same shit, but he'll exercise a mixed race identity, being mestizo, being Mexican, having Spanish, European blood, and Aztec blood. Yeah, see, you see that he gets to exercise that liberty. But for you mulattoes, according to this Mexican, oh no, there doesn't exist. I don't take that boy seriously. I don't even listen to his ass. I did like one reaction video because my boy, my man up here in the chat, the Blaxican cat, he was on the panel. So I had to cover his back. I was like, let me review this. Otherwise, I don't watch that dude Ricardo's BS. He caters to Bantus. I don't care. Ricardo Ignacio is type to call celebrities like Cardi B, Jim Jones black when they're clearly very mixed. Yeah. Yeah, that's the market. I remember the La Raza na Celoti pro indigenous guys like Ricardo, even though pre-Spanish Mexico was divided different kingdoms. Yeah. But Philip Scott also started deleting videos soon after to cover his tracks. Yeah. Yeah. Phil chooses the whitest Latina. Phil claimed he is Zambo. That's crazy. But I never heard any other Latinos not liking Puerto Ricans. Yeah, and I'm not Latino. And that's why when the guy said something about them being lower class, I was like, I don't know where that comes from, bro. Like I've never thought of that. And like I said, I'm from the West Coast, and look at this guy right here. He said he's from Bronx. Yeah. He says I'm self-conscious in my voice. He's Eastern European. So he's Eastern European, but he lives in Bronx. See, that's what I'm saying. There's that nuance and disconnect. I don't know how old you are, what generation, but like, yeah, they're not considered the lower class Hispanics, bro. They're not. Like all the rhetoric with Trump is not saying none of that applies to Puerto Ricans. They're not going to deport them. He's not going to build a wall to get Puerto Ricans out. They were talking about making Puerto Rico like a state or something. That's whatever. What I'm saying is that they're not considered the lower class Hispanic because that's what you said. But you're Eastern European, so you're not American born and you don't understand the nuances in the nation. I get it. Yeah, because that's the first I've heard of that. That's why I want you to jump on a panel, but you're self-conscious. That's cool. Probably a Bantu regurgitating stuff in this chat, pretend to be Eastern European. I don't think they necessarily dislike them. It's just a completely different culture, even though both Mexicans and Puerto Ricans are both Latino. Puerto Ricans are more similar to other Caribbeans. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Peasant trashy New Yorkers who have been having dysgenics. New Yorkers. Dysgenics. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you bumped heads with some of them out there or something. But yeah, there is a nuance. You say New Yorkers. Those are the Puerto Ricans who were born and raised, kind of grew up in New York, right? Yeah. But it kind of sounds like your tone there. You kind of have some animosity. You live next to them. Maybe you bumped heads with some of the dudes or something. I don't know. Maybe just stay away from the dudes. Talk to the chicks because you're a guy. So that's my advice. I mean, that's, because I'm from California, Yeah, and there's some dudes. Yeah, I try to get away from them. Whatever. You bump heads. The machismo and all that shit. But you see the chicks. You see the Chicanas. Like, okay, yeah, I love these people now. I love Mexicans. You see the Chicanas. Like, oh, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, just deal with the chicks then, bro. You said you're from the backwoods of Albania. Says, I thought I'm going to Latin America for a spouse, hence why I was lurking. Why not Albania? Latin America for a spouse, really? Yeah, a lot of guys do that. A lot of guys. Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense though, right? Because I've traveled a lot through Latin America, and it's like some of the most beautiful women you're gonna find, and it kind of makes sense, So I would never like diss a guy for getting a partner down there. It makes sense. You go there, you interact, you deal with these people and the women and stuff. You're like, well, damn, you could start a family with someone there. It's just, it makes sense, you know? So yeah. Yeah, Dennis Sperling's I don't like Dennis Sperling either. Yeah, King Macho and Fighter Complex are other Latino YouTubers. I respect both of them. I don't respect Chem123. Fuck him. He's a punk. I think people in Latino circles, they just respect him just because he's Latino and he has a YouTube channel. He has a voice. I think that holds weight to them. But for me, as a mulatto man, biracial American, I don't respect that mark. Chem123. You know, King Macho, I respect him. He's cool. Me and him are cool. Fighter Complex, I've never interacted with him. You think he's a Dominican guy, but for what I know, he's cool. I think I shared a video of his before, like over a year ago. Um, yeah, but I think people give that Chem123 guy like too much respect. But he's clear he's an incel, doesn't get no pussy. I just don't understand. Like, I guess because he covers Latino topics, gives them Latino perspective. That's cool. I get it. But yeah, like in this Ricardo guy, like he talks crap on Dominicans and other mixed people, and he has a mostly black audience. It's like the same as like Phil Scott. He has a black audience, but he's married to a Mexican. Like, what? I guess people just want to be entertained, I guess. It makes sense why you guys are up here. You want to be entertained. Ricardo says he doesn't have white blood, even though Mexico, yeah, Spanish, yeah. Yeah, he's pure native. That's what Ricardo's saying. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Dennis Sperling is another sucker. The guy is like 80% white, pretending like he's like a pure black American. And that's why he got with the dark-skinned Jamaican chick to have black kids, because he did the reverse of what the biracial baby mama does, where they get a dark-skinned black partner to blacken it up, to legitimize their position in black society. That's what Dennis Sperling did. He got with a dark-skinned black female, had black kids to kind of blacken it up to legitimize his position. Yeah. He did it in reverse. And I think he actually has a mulatto kid as well, because he got another baby mama out from the DR, Dennis Sperling, but he tries to hide that his other child, right? He kind of promotes his two darker skinned children because his audience is mostly black males. So to grift off them, he promotes it like, I'm a black father, my black sons, right? That's his marketing. Yeah, he's trying to fit in with them, so he had to get a black female, right? He does. Yeah, Ricardo's native. He claims to be native, but doesn't speak the native tongue. Yeah, it's typical, right? Dennis the Menace, Sperling. You put Black Americans don't speak their native language either. Yeah, they only speak English, but they got feathers in their hair and they're indigenous. Yeah, okay, sure. In Mexico, unexplained. Robert still has those videos explaining different non-Aztec mouse groups like Perpucha, Chichimeca. Apologize, my pronunciation's not there, but I feel like dark-skinned women should be submissive to light-skinned men. I don't even care what the hell they're doing. I pretty much, for me, I like mulatto, mixed women of African descent that are mixed, and like even just Latinas or whatever, Hispanic. I mean, I like all women. It's all good, but just like the preference, yeah. So like whatever, like dark skinned women, I don't, what they're doing, I don't care. I don't care. I think there's other channels. Like go to Ricardo's channel. They'll help. They're all over there on that channel. Sal's, I heard in Mexico, native means speaking and living a native lifestyle, even though some of those natives have small white DNA. I've been going at this for 2.5 hours. I'm going to get the hell up out of here, guys. We're late over here. I do think I'm better than, yeah, see this guy. I do think dark-skinned women would be very lucky. Yeah, see, I don't know who this guy is, bro. This Sam Teller guy, just kind of trolling in the chat and shit. King Macho hasn't been around in years. Not only about a year. Haitians kept flagging him. I think he's just doing some other shit. Or I think he got burnt out. He wasn't probably getting enough support from people. I don't know. I think he just got burnt out, bro. I don't think people are flagging his stuff, because I followed him on YouTube and TikTok, and I just think people weren't like really supporting enough. of his stuff. But that wasn't too long ago. That was like several months or a year ago. Yeah, that was like several months ago, actually. Yeah, that he basically kind of, basically just put everything on pause or whatever. So it wasn't years ago. But yeah, shout out to Macho. I don't know. I guess he just got tired, whatever. Chem123 had said he was mad his Mexican sister was with the mulatto Dominican. That's what I'm telling you. That fool is anti-mulatto. He doesn't like biracial people. That's why I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck that fool. Chem123. He's an incel. See, because you have Hispanic guys like that are dorky, dweeby, weak ass incels. They're competing with mulattoes for sexual access as well. They know we have access to Latina women. I don't have to diss Latino dudes to get Latina women. And I tell my audience, and I have close Latino friends, like I tell my audience, don't disrespect the men to try to get the women. Don't do what these black guys do. Don't do what Bantus and passport Pookies do. Don't hate on the men and try to lower the value of the men to get access up to the women. That's a bitch move. And that's a misandrous move. That's like a cock blocking, player hating move. And for these cats who act like they're players and they're pimps and players, but yet they're doing this like man hater shit, trying to step on another man to get like some tail when it doesn't have to be that way. Don't act like them. Be civil and decent. So I don't tell people to hate Latino men to try to get some Latina women. I'm saying respect everybody. Don't be a punk and call out people who need to be called, like this Chem123 guy. Fuck that fool. I'm saying I could already sense it with him, man. He's just mad. The other dudes are basically gonna get chicks because I seen how he was kind of aggressive with other Latinas in one chat. He was attacking like these Latinas and shit. I was like, damn, that those are your own like people. So I like just straight up incel vibes from that dude. Chem123. So he's just mad. Everyone else is getting tail. Yeah, I'm not surprised you put this here. I don't even know the guy, but I'm not surprised you said his own sister. He was mad his sister got his sister's boyfriend is like a mulatto Dominican. I'm not surprised. His behavior I can tell. He said I did like hearing Chico, Antonio Batista, never liked Radical Latino. I only know of Radical Latino because a mulatto guy, that Ant Report was his channel name. As a mulatto dude, he basically was kind of connected to him and would like shout him out and stuff like that. That's the only reason why I know of Radical Latino. I don't know anything much about him. Just because there's a mutual mulatto guy who kind of used to hang out with him. Yeah. This Sam Teller guy. I think what it is he's trying to like position it at like our channel. Let me read this comment. Sal, he was recently bragging about his half Dominican nephew. Yeah. With this Sam guy, I kind of feel like you're putting these comments in the chat and the channel to give the impression that we're like a super hostile kind of space over here or something. You come under this troll account, you could be a saboteur. I don't know, man, but like you put a dark skinned woman should be eager and happy to be Aunt Jemima for light skinned king. Like what? That doesn't even make sense. Like I don't understand. Like what do you get from making that type of comment? Like you could do it behind a troll account, I get, but it's like, what do you get? Like you don't get anything from that. Like you're not getting any points. But I kind of feel like you're putting in these comments to try to like make me or my platform look bad or like, you know, but these are your words, whatever. They're not my words. Fuck that. And people could say I say worse, okay, but I stand on my shit. That's the thing. And that's why a lot of people respect me. Like, okay, this guy means it, he says it. And that's why people come over and they creep over and tune in. So Dennis Sperling is big into getting reparations. Yeah, from Africa. He wants the Africans to pay him reparations. Yeah, he's full of it. He said, I'm not trying to saboteur or anything. I'm just venting, bro. You've been binging Light Skin Historian. Well, Light Skin Historian doesn't have your tone in the chat. I would never go to Bantu route except for dealing with Bantus. So light skinned historian is actually very polished and professional with his delivery. I'm not. I'm kind of a sloppy guy. I come up in here saying some vulgar and rude comments, but whatever. It's already been 2 hours and 30 minutes. I gave you guys some good content. I hope you guys can kind of, you know, salivate on what I produce for you guys. I got a video dropping in a few hours. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell. And yeah, I'll catch you guys pretty soon. All right. Peace out.